ballpark, opening day. The games matter. This is what it's all about.
All right, let's talk about some of your headlines now. We'll get into all of the baseball stuff, but your top stories coming in after what you saw this spring.
I am so excited about VR and Arcia up the middle at shortstop. These guys, unbelievable. The athleticism that they're going to show this year, I can't wait to see what these guys can do. It's going to be magical watching these guys play short and second base. Starting pitching, these guys got to step it up a little bit. Junior Guerra, today's starter. Zach Davies, great seasons last year. The other guys got to pick it up a little bit. Willie Peralta had a very good spring training. We're looking to see if he can continue that. He came back from the minor leagues last year and really started to pitch well. And what David Stearns wanted to do in the offseason, he wanted more balance in that lineup. He got some power in the corners. Eric Thames, Travis Shaw, both of them swinging the bat well as we ended spring training. Three things to watch. It's going to be an exciting year.
Well, you talk about this Milwaukee Brewers team. There are 17 players on this roster, on the 40-man, that are making league minimum. This is a very young team. Ryan Braun is one of the stable holdovers. He's the superstar in the middle of the lineup. This is going to be a team of hope, and a team who can see if they can add to the stakes they put in the ground last year. It's going to be a lot of fun, folks. We're going to have some fun with the Milwaukee Brewers in 2017. We got a special ceremonial first pitch coming, and that guy is going to throw the real first pitch. Opening day, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, coming your way. Check 1 2, mic test 1 2 3. Thank you. Every organization's goal is to build a team that can one day compete for the ultimate prize. In Milwaukee, the construction of a winner is being built with talent formed from many places. A manager raised as our own who brings plenty of championship experience.
A liner off Nagy's glove into center field. The third
a former top 5 pick who has turned into one of the game's biggest stars.
And he sends one deep to center field. Hamilton will only watch. It bangs off the Miller Lite sign.
And now a new wave of youth developing right before our eyes. Equipped with speed.
There goes VR. And safe is the call.
Power.
That is back there. Santana hits another one out. Oh, man.
Athleticism.
Back is Broxton at the wall. He reaches up and he makes the catch.
Skill and style.
Look at that throw.
Success will be built on control, stability, and plenty of hard work.
There's a called strike 3.
The future is coming into focus. The vision, a framework of beauty. The quest for the final goal continues today. Opening day. Let's make a memory. Let's enjoy the show.
And we are just moments away from that show as we get ready for baseball at Miller Park. And you might hear from other ballparks and other teams around the country that they have the best fans and the best tailgating. They would be wrong, because there are no fans better at tailgating outside on this day than Milwaukee, Wisconsin fans. And it is great to have you with us today as we get set for opening day baseball. The crowd still filing in. Let's check in with the third member of our team with the scene from the dugout, Sophia Minard. Happy opening day, Sophia.
Happy opening day, guys. It's certainly great to be back here at Miller Park. A lot of excitement in the dugout after the introductions. They are certainly ready for first pitch here. And Craig Counsell knows he's got a young team, 9 players making the opening day roster for the first time. 3 of them in today's starting lineup, including the battery of Junior Guerra, Jet Bandy, and of course shortstop Orlando Arcia. Here's what Counsell had to say on the challenges of managing that young team.
You have to give them some freedom to do their jobs and see what happens and fail a little bit and move forward. And that's a part of this. I think that's part of management. So we're very conscious of that. But there's, like you said, there's also the line. There's the push. There's sometimes you got to push. So that I can't give you like the firm answer on that, because that's the feel part about the job. That's what you have to feel and have to be connected to your guys and understand what they need.
Well, before Junior Guerra headed out to the bullpen, I had a quick conversation with him, asked him how he was feeling. He just smiled and he said, I'm ready, I'm excited, I'm ready to go. He is always the picture of calm, cool, collected, but you have to know this has to be a major moment for him, 32 years old, making his first opening day roster, and now an opening day starter.
What an incredible story it is that Junior Guerra would be on this stage on this day after what he has gone through in his career, as the Brewers are very anxiously awaiting the call to run out onto the field. And I would imagine, Rock, you've done it on a number of occasions. You've been behind the plate for an opening day. There's probably nothing more special than what they're about to experience.
Yeah, adrenaline is just running rampant right now. You talk about all these young players, guys like Ryan Braun and players that have been here before on opening day. They feel it too. So it's an exciting day for everybody.
Junior Guerra and the Brewers in their home whites hit the field at Miller Park for the first time in 2017. And I'm sure Junior is feeling the nerves of a moment like this. Came in as the underdog last year, a guy that nobody expected was in the minor leagues to start the season. Put together a fantastic year, which has earned him this opening day start. There's Bud Black, new skipper of the Colorado Rockies. Oh, by the way, the Rockies are here. Have to have an opponent. And the Rockies are very confident that they are going to contend in the National League West this season. Bud Black has brought in a new staff. They have a very good lineup and a very young and talented pitching staff. And let's give you the Colorado Rockies starting batting order courtesy of Potawatomi. Charlie Blackmon leads off. DJ LeMahieu, an all-star a couple of years ago, bats second. Carlos Gonzalez, who made the all-star team last year, hits third. And then maybe one of the game's best players, Nolan Arenado. He is certainly in the conversation Trevor Story, Gerardo Parra, the former Brewer, make up the middle. And the bottom three, another former Brewer, Mark Reynolds, Tony Wolters will do the catching, and John Gray, 25-year-old pitcher, on the mound.
Well, an incredible year last year for Junior Guerra. Now, he's not going to be surprising anybody. He's not going to be flying under the radar screen anymore. They're going to be waiting for him. They know what he's got right now, and you see the numbers that he was able to post last year. 9-3, 281 earned run average, making his first ever start against the Colorado Rockies, and it is a potent offense for this Colorado ball club. Let's check out the Menards defense for the Brewers. Very athletic defense, if you will. Ryan Braun, Keon Broxton, and Santana in the outfield. You see the new changes on the corners and behind home plate. Travis Shaw, Eric Thames, Jet Bandy behind home plate. And I'm excited to watch Orlando Arcia and Jonathan Villar all season long up the middle.
So many stories to follow this year. There is Shaw, and there is Thames, and the new corner infielders for the Brewers. And let's do it. It's time to play ball in Milwaukee at Miller Park. Charlie Blackmon steps in. Junior Guerra to do the honors. And away we go. Home plate umpire Joe West, the crew chief. Hunter Wendelstedt, Andy Fletcher, Alan Porter get the call for opening day at Miller Park this season. And you might notice a new wrinkle to our television coverage, a little bit different angle to see the pitches from up above, straight away behind the pitcher, squared up with home plate.
Yeah, give you a better sense for inside outside on hitters.
And Blackmon in the air. Shift was on. Long run for Arcia. He'll give way to Braun, and no, he won't. He'll take it himself. And Arcia makes a catch, and that's how we begin the 2017 season.
Well, as long as somebody catches it, right? Now let's check out, you know, some of the things to watch for Junior Guerra here today. You got to figure he's pretty amped up. He's got to be sharp early. His last couple of starts in spring training did not go very well. Not very good command, so he's got to be sharp early, have some success. Spot the fastball, which he's got to do in and out, and that splitter is good swing and miss pitch for him last year. Has to be down in the strike zone.
Guerra will face DJ LeMahieu, batting second in this Colorado batting order. There's strike one. LeMahieu, the batting champion last season in the National League. The Rockies were the last team the Brewers saw last year, finished up with Colorado and Denver, and that was LeMahieu's last charge, and he ended up winning the batting title, hit .348 last season. And Rock, the Brewers are going to find out about their pitching right away, because the Rockies and the Cubs are coming to town this first homestand, two of the more potent offenses in the big leagues.
Yeah, Rockies are loaded, and they even have some guys on the disabled list. Ian Desmond on the DL, but still, when you look at the top of this order, all the way down, they're pretty good. They could take you out of the ballpark. Always high batting averages. And Bud Black figures he's got to figure out a way to get other guys out if he wants to contend.
On the ground, first chance for Shaw, the Brewers' new third baseman. No problem. 2 up and 2 down for Junior Guerra.
And so far, Junior's been able to stay down with that splitter. That was a problem for him in his last couple of starts in spring training. Everything up, fastball, splitter, and he gave up a lot of runs. That's why I was saying it's important for him to have some success early on.
Craig Counsell now beginning his third season as the Brewer skipper, a native of Whitefish Bay, Wisconsin. He is a homegrown product. Grew up rooting for the Brewers. His father, John, was a member of the staff here with Milwaukee, part of the communications staff. And Craig Counsell can speak to what Brewers baseball is and what opening day is in Milwaukee probably better than just about anyone.
Yeah, and the success of this organization means everything to him.
Carlos Gonzalez, 2 outs, first inning. We're just underway. And Guerra with a swing and a miss from Gonzalez, maybe a little splitter that hung up. That's been the big pitch for Junior Guerra, the split finger fastball, and it will make or break his season.
And his ability to throw it, particularly when he's behind in the count. That was one of the best swing and miss pitches for any pitcher in baseball last year. That splitter for Junior Guerra. He started to throw a little bit harder at the end of the season. more of a splitter as opposed to a forkball. So it evolved as the season went on last year.
Well, he's got Gonzalez 0-2. 2 gone first inning. Guerra delivers and a little bouncer foul. Throughout the season last year, Junior Guerra was one of those pitchers that you kept waiting for the bubble to bust, and not because of his stuff, because you look at his stuff and it plays well, but because of his background and where he came from and the fact he had no major league experience. Just a couple of games, a cup of coffee 2 years ago with the White Sox, and yet he ended up being the Brewers' best and earned this opening day start based on his season last season.
And it's going to be important for him to continue to make adjustments as the league gets to know him better and better as he gets through the season this year.
9-3 and a 2.81 ERA, and he starts it with a bang. He strikes out Gonzalez, and we are off and running to the 2017 season. Glad to have you with us, everybody. Let the games begin. 3 up, 3 down for Junior Guerra. Now the Brew Crew coming up, and you see the Potawatomi batting order. Craig Counsell has VR leading off now. Eric Thames will hit second for the time being, with Braun batting third. In the middle goes Shaw, Santana, and Broxton. Jet Bandy, new catcher, Orlando Arcia, and Junior Guerra will round out the starting 9. And getting the opening day nod for the Rockies partner, 25-year-old flamethrower John Gray.
Yeah, his second full season. He started the year last year on the disabled list, so this is his first active roster for opening day. Big, tall right-hander, 6'4", 232 pounds. Had a decent year last year for Colorado.
And his first bullet is 95 miles an hour. There you see Jonathan VR, the National League leader in stolen bases last year. Won the crown. 62 stolen base season for VR. And a lot of discussion for Craig Counsell about who would hit lead off. A lot of talk between Keon Broxton and VR. And VR has won the job for now, and I'm sure it'll be the lineup that turns over a little bit. But Counsell has settled in on this 1-2-3 with VR, Thames, who brings a lot of power to the 2 spot in the order, and then Ryan Braun.
Yeah, it's always nice to have a switch hitter as your leadoff hitter. He can move around righty or lefty out on the mound. And Broxton brings you the power, the speed. This is going to be a very aggressive base running team. They're going to steal bases once again. And you remember last year they went great lengths in drawing walks. That's going to be an important part of the offense as well.
And VR takes a strike and a called strike 3 to get Gray his first punch out of the day. He can be a strikeout pitcher. He's got great stuff.
Now let's check out the Rockies as they line up defensively. You got Parr, Blackman, and Gonzalez in the outfield. Arenado, Trevor Story, who spent a lot of time on the disabled list last year. He's got a lot of power. Good young player to watch. DJ LeMahieu, the Gold Glover. Mark Reynolds, a former Brewer at first. And you've got Walters behind home plate.
It's a very talented lineup offensively for Colorado. They are excellent defensively. A ton of Gold Glove awards out there. And their third baseman, Nolan Arenado, is one of the elites in the game right now. And everything hit over in that direction. The man with 4 consecutive Gold Gloves is usually an out. First look at Eric Dames. So excited to get his career going and restarted in the major leagues. Became a star in Korea. And if you follow the Brewers closely, you know his story. Signed a 3-year deal with the Brewers. He had arrived in the major leagues with the Blue Jays and then ultimately the Mariners. Was a much different player then, was a speedy outfielder. And then went to Korea, found his home run stroke. Was an MVP of the KBO. And has found his way back to the big leagues, Rock.
And Craig Counsell even has him playing a little bit in the outfield. Certainly a versatile guy, and got off to a bit of a slow start. Just trying to figure out pitching over here once again after 3 years in Korea.
There's a called strike 3. So John Gray starts this game with back-to-back strikeouts, both backwards Ks.
And this one down the middle, right at the bottom of the strike zone. You see the 2-seam fastball. He can rush it up there at about 97 miles an hour. He's got a curveball and a slider to go with it. This guy set a rookie record for the Rockies with strikeouts last year. He struck out 185 hitters.
Pitched right out of his hat that time with the long locks. 2 up, 2 down. Here's Ryan Braun, making his 10th consecutive opening day start. It is his 11th year in the big leagues. You might remember his rookie year, 07. He didn't come up till late May. Won the Rookie of the Year that year, and they are still bothered by that award in Colorado. That was a neck-and-neck battle that season with Troy Tulowitzki, rookie shortstop of the Rockies back then, who made the opening day roster for Colorado. And Braun, who didn't arrive until late May of 07, won the award. High in the air, right field, playable Gonzalez is there. And a 3 up, 3 down inning with a couple of strikeouts for John Gray. Settle in. Opening day underway at Miller Park. We'll go to the second. Bud Selig, Commissioner Emeritus and Hall of Fame Class 2017, doing the honors, throwing out the first pitch. Mark Ananasio, the current Brewers owner, who purchased the team from the Seligs, there to receive it. Very symbolic and a great moment here at Miller Park. Good arm by the...
Good arm, I was just getting ready to say it. Pretty good throw.
And Guerra clips Arenado. got him. I think he just brushed his jersey on the first pitch of the inning, and that'll be the first base runner of the ball game. Let's see where this hit him.
You see that two-seam fastball up in the zone, and that just did get a piece of the jersey. That's all it takes. You remember Arenado's series here last year, a couple of years ago, I should say, opening weekend, just took apart the Brewer pitching staff, and got to avoid that this year.
Yeah, that series on opening day 2 years ago was impressive. Arenado 4 homers, 7 RBIs, and in his career he is a .480 hitter at Miller Park. And so that's a guy that the Brewers don't mind seeing at first base, and you certainly have to pitch him inside.
Yeah, at least you know where he's at, right?
Keep a good eye on him at first base. Hopefully he stays there. Here's Trevor Story. Took over that shortstop job. The Rockies trading away Troy Tulowitzki a couple of seasons ago, and Story has settled right in. What a player he has turned into. Great rookie season last season. He tore ligaments in his left thumb in August, went on the disabled list in early August, and prior to that hit 27 homers in just 97 games.
Yeah, a ton of that damage early in the season. Got off to a tremendous start.
And he's an excellent defender as well. So Guerra pitching from the stretch for the first time.
You know, Reddy Jr. with really good command of the fastball, keeping it down. It's on the corners. Pitching with a lot of confidence. That's what's important, to get that confidence level going after his rough starts in spring training.
Guerra's last start in Arizona was last Friday. Beg your pardon, last Tuesday. And so he comes here on what would be considered regular rest, or in his world normal rest. He went 3 2/3 in that game against Cleveland, and overall in spring training he made 6 starts, 6 spring training starts. Pitched in 17 1/3 innings, which is a good number for a starting pitcher, but never went more than 4 innings in a game, and never more than 72 pitches in a spring training game. And I would imagine he'll be hovering around the 90-95 pitch limit here today if everything goes smoothly. They don't like to throw guys out for the first starts of their season, even the first few, getting up over 100 pitches.
Well, it depends on how the game is going too. If he's cruising along and you know, not a lot of pressure pitches and innings, and you may let him go a little bit, but that's why the Brewers have elected to go with 8 pitchers in their bullpen, at least early in the season, until pitch counts get up there.
Man at first, Arenado hit by a pitch, nobody out, and Story a swing and a miss. Down he goes. Guerra picks up his 2nd strikeout.
Nice splitter down in the dirt. Well, if you're catching Junior Guerra, you better be ready to block the baseball. And you saw Jet Bandy and Manny Pini do a terrific job of that in spring training. There it is, textbook. Getting Story down in the strike zone. A 1-2 pitch, and he chased it.
So 1 away, and Arenado at first. Here comes a familiar face and name in Gerardo Parra. Parra getting to start in left field. Has a couple of gold gloves on his mantle as an outfielder, but can and will play first base this season for Colorado. Right now the Rockies are without Ian Desmond, one of their big pickups this offseason. He's going to be down until probably the end of April, maybe early May, and a broken hand. And Bud Black trying to piece it together, but knows he'll get a few of his pieces back quickly, including David Dahl, who has a rib injury. Tom Murphy, catcher. Arenado started, then stopped. And Bandy keeps him right there.
Yeah, imagine that lineup with those guys back. I mean, right now it's still pretty potent. And the top 6 in this batting order pretty good.
Well, they're also without one of their starting pitchers who might have had the opening day call today, Chad Bettis, who is dealing with cancer, and he is going through chemo right now, and we certainly want to wish him well. That is a very difficult battle, and Baseball is the last thing on his mind, I'm sure, today. But a heavy blow, not just what Bettis brings on the field, but off the field as well. And the prognosis is good for Chad Bettis, but he is another big piece that is not with the team to start the year. 1-1 to Parra. Rock, talk a little bit about Jet Bandy and the catching situation this year. Brand new faces back there.
And again, I mean, everybody was concerned. You know, the Jonathan Lucroy, Martin Maldonado era gone. They're both got, you know, traded. Lucroy in July and Maldonado in the offseason. Everybody concerned about how the catching core was going to be able to handle this pitching staff. These two guys did a terrific job. Andrew Susac was in that mix until he got hurt. He had a neck injury, but I don't think the Brewers are going to lose much defensively with these two guys. Jet Bandy, Manny Pena, both of which have handled themselves very well behind home plate, and they caught a lot by design for Craig Counsell so that they could learn this pitching staff.
Well, Craig Counsell is saying you have two catchers here, and when you add Susac, who's on the disabled list, basically three catchers who are at the point of their careers where they're trying to establish themselves as everyday big leaguers. There is a lot of potential there, and they are different. Pena and Bandy, the two that are on the active roster right now. Bandy's a Bill Schroeder kind of guy. He's a big catcher, 6'4", has a very strong throwing arm, hits for power. Pena, a little stockier build.
Yeah, and back in those days, I was tall and thin.
The former Bill Schroeder, right. Not the current.
Pena had a tremendous spring training at the plate. I mean, home runs, batting average, and I guess if you're Craig Counsell, you figure that defense isn't going to be an issue. They both have terrific throwing arms. It's going to be the guy that's swinging the bat.
And Craig warned us not to try to figure out a rotation of the catchers because he hasn't figured it out yet. As Parra strikes out, and Guerra has that splitter going early. That's his third punch out. 2 outs.
I mean, just check out the location. I mean, this is what Junior Guerra did a lot last year, and that's exactly where you want it, folks, with 2 strikes. He gets a swing and a miss. And split finger fastball is so difficult for a hitter to pick up out of the hand, and by the time you see it breaking, sometimes it's too late. That's why you see a lot of swings on pitches out of the strike zone.
Another familiar face stepping in, Mark Reynolds, former Brewer, was with Milwaukee in 2014. Takes the first pitch, a little bit low. Reynolds hit 22 homers for the Brewers in 2014 in 130 games. You see what he did last year in his first year as a Rocky. Can bounce around, a bat off the bench, and when Ian Desmond does return, Reynolds will go into more of that bench role.
Yeah, big power strikes out a lot, and when he was with the Brewers, it was kind of surprising how good he was at first base. Very, very good defensively.
Two 2-0 to Reynolds. Arenado hit by a pitch. He's at first. And a swing and a miss. There's a good fastball.
He's throwing a lot of 2-seamers, if you notice. I mean, it's with some good movement on him. 2-seamer going down and into right-handers, down and away to lefties.
You might notice fastball velocity across the board will be up a tick. It's the way Major League Baseball is now measuring fastballs. They're catching them out of the hand as opposed at the 50-foot mark, which is the way it has been practiced. So that's going to bump it up by a mile per hour, maybe 2 on occasion.
Ball slows down as it gets to home plate. Just a little bit.
Might win you a snow cone in the old speed pitch.
Yeah.
With a little extra velocity coming out of the hand. 2-2 the count. Guerra trying to strike out the side and make it 4 consecutive outs via the strikeout.
Pretty good velocity right there at 94 miles an hour. His best bullet so far. He can rush it up there, and he kind of saves it when he needs it, when he's behind an account. 94, 81 with the split.
.32-year-old Junior Guerra's first opening day assignment. There goes Arenado, and a swing and a line drive into left center deep, and it is gone. And Reynolds reaches out and puts the Rockies on top. 2-run home run. Mark Reynolds still flashes that impressive power.
And it's out on his front foot. That was a split-fingered fastball. It might have been up just a little bit, but well, it's certainly not a bad pitch. That's what Mark Reynolds gives you. I mean, big power. He was out on that front foot, but still able to keep the hands back. It was up just a bit. A little flick of the wrist, and that ball lines out of here to left. And the Rockies with a 2-0 lead.
2 strike, 2 out, 2-run home run for Mark Reynolds. And the Rockies strike first. Bases empty. Here is Tony Wolters, left-handed hitting catcher for the Rockies.
The thing about this lineup, right? You get through the big guns at the top of the order, then with 2 strikes, number 7 hitter takes you deep. There's really no resting in this lineup.
Last year, 71 games for Wolters. Tom Murphy, talented young catcher the Rockies have, is going to be out for about a month, maybe 6 weeks. Has a broken right arm. And Wolters will step in there as the lead. Now Mark Reynolds returning to do some damage against his old team. Loves hitting here, always did. One of the reasons why he was so excited to come to Milwaukee back in 14. It's always been one of his favorite parks. There's a strike. 2-2 on Wolters.
Anybody that can hit home runs likes it here. It's a good hitter's ballpark, good background. Hitters say they see the baseball very well, and the power alleys aren't that deep.
Got him. Put a fastball by him. The bat goes flying into the stands. The 4th strikeout for Guerra, but he gives up a 2-run homer. Souvenir for a young fan. 2-0 Colorado.
Are trailing the Rockies 2-0 here at Miller Park as we get the season underway. And Craig Counsell before the game had a lot to say about his team, the expectations for this year. And in our car scoop for the clubhouse, he started first with just the emotions of opening day. 9 players on this team making their first opening day roster. He's wanted them to embrace the moment. He said you want them to feel the excitement, the jitters, these memories. He goes, you want these days like today. You don't get them very often. over the course of a long season. So use it in a way that can help you. And he also addressed the lineup and the catching situation, saying don't get fixated on any patterns. It'll really take probably a month or so for all of those roles to settle in. John Gray fires a pitch there. And then also the addition of Jared Hughes, signed just yesterday, released by Pittsburgh earlier this week. He was here at Miller Park yesterday to sign, met with Counsell. Derek Johnson, Lee Tunnell did throw as well. So Counsell said he's active. He'll be available here today.
All right, again, you know, everybody asks Craig Counsell, what would you consider to be a successful season? What do you expect out of these guys? And he says, I place no limitations on this team. We show up to the ballpark to try and win every day.
That's a fair ball by Travis Shaw. And Shaw thinking about two. He's on his way. The throw comes in late. And how about that for a Brewer debut? Travis Shaw with a leadoff double here in the second inning.
Yeah, and that's what we saw in spring training. Shaw's ability to go to the opposite field. He stays on the ball nicely. He's got a nice swing, keeps it in the hitting zone a long time, and is able to slice that one down the third baseline. We saw a lot of swings like this for Shaw. Doesn't it feel as though he needs to pull the baseball, lets the ball travel? Look at the good balance after that swing, and just kind of slices it right down that line for a double.
You never know how spring training will carry over to a season. Shaw was great this spring, hit .351 this spring. Here's Domingo Santana, takes a ball.
Showed good power to the opposite field.
Yeah, Shaw hit 5 homers. He drove in 14 runs this spring in a month.
Nothing like getting that first hit out of the way. New team, opening day, takes the pressure all off.
John Gray, impressive first inning with a couple of Ks. 2 backwards Ks to start his season, and Santana in a 1-1 count. Domingo battled injuries last year and had him on the disabled list for about 2 months. Elbow injury, then a shoulder injury. But he gets the chance to be the opening day starter in right field. A player the Brewers acquired in a big deal with the Astros 2 seasons ago. That was that deal that involved Carlos Gomez and Mike Fiers. And Santana was one of the big pieces of that trade, and the first and only at this point to be a regular in the big leagues. But the others are coming. Specifically Josh Hader, talented young left-handed pitcher who will pitch at AAA this year. And Brett Phillips will be one of the AAA outfielders. He was part of that trade. Adrian Hauser, a pitcher who had Tommy John surgery.
They need Santana to be healthy and productive. I mean, he showed signs of really that consistency in spring training. They moved him off the plate a couple inches.
On the ground, ranging over Story. Shaw's going to advance. Santana is out. But a productive out as Shaw ends up 90 feet away. 1 man out here in the second inning.
Yeah, Darnell Coles and Santana, they moved off the plate just a little bit, and it proved to be a pretty good move because he was able to drive the ball better into right center. We saw that in spring training. But still quick enough to get on the inside part of the plate and pull it down the left field line.
The most positive man in baseball, Darnell Coles, the hitting coach. And you can imagine how that would be even more to the extreme on opening day when everybody's positive. Brewers are in first place. Cole's excited about his lineup this year. Here's Keon Broxton, runner at third. Milwaukee trying to answer a 2-run top of the second. Mark Reynolds with a 2-run homer. And here's one of the players the Brewers will have a keen eye on this year. Can he repeat what he was able to do once he changed his batting stance and returned to the big leagues? It was an incredible story. One mechanical move changed his career. At least it changed his season last season.
Well, the hands were dropped, but went a little bit further than that. I mean, it was an approach, you know, just waiting back, driving the ball to the opposite field. It was kind of 50-50 between confidence and the adjustment in his setup.
Runner at third, 1 away. John Gray deals, and he puts one right by Broxton. Big fastball at 96. Now Broxton hit .317 with 3 homers and 11 RBIs this spring, carried over what he did in his final 46 last year. Completely different player when he came back for a third time to the big leagues, hitting .294, showed some power. And down he goes.
Yeah, and that's a pitch the Brewers are going to have to lay off of, that high fastball. You just can't get to it at the velocity that Gray has thrown it up there. Hey, Broxton showed good patience at the plate in spring training as well. He had a nice consecutive, I think it was 17, 18 straight games where he reached base safely. Swinging the bat well, patient at the plate.
So 2 men are out. Shaw still at third base after leading off the inning with a double. And here is Jet Bandy coming to the Brewers from the Angels. On the first pitch, pulls one foul to the tarp that is never used, thankfully.
It looks good though.
Is there an actual tarp under that wrap, or
I don't know? Might be a decoy.
Hopefully we never see it. All hail the roof. Especially in April in the upper Midwest. We'd be playing ball today, but it would not be
pleasant,
comfortable at all. And it's quickly 0-2 on Bandy. Bandy was involved in that trade for Martin Maldonado. The Angels needing a defensive specialist catcher. And so they made the acquisition, giving up their catcher, who brings a little power to the plate. Not to say Bandy is not a top defender. He's got a very good arm.
Well, he showed like he's a pretty good defender in spring training.
And an 0-2 fastball misses.
Good take.
99 miles an hour with that four-seam fastball.
I think Gray thrown off fastballs so far. I don't remember seeing much of a wrinkle in anything he's thrown.
26 pitches at this point, 17 of them for strikes. Whatever nerves he's battling, he is corralling them well, and it helps to be a power pitcher when you're in an environment like this. First major league opening day assignment. The 1-2. 2-2. Another big fastball.
Yeah, when you have the adrenaline going, being a power pitcher is certainly an advantage. It's certainly more an advantage for John Gray than it is for Junior Guerra. Got to rely on that finesse with a splitter.
Shaw's leadoff double. Moved to third on a ground ball. He's there with 2 outs. 2-2 the count on Jet Bandy. Jet gets called Jeff a lot, especially before he got to the big leagues. The combination of names between his grandfather, Chester, who was known as Chet, and his father, Jeff. So that's how you get Jet. And another guy who knows he has a chance to establish himself as a regular major league catcher after up a couple of seasons with the Angels. And a swing and a miss. So Gray with back-to-back strikeouts, and the Brewers let a leadoff double get away. Impressive start. Hollywood. He signed by the Braves as a catcher in 2001. Played international independent leagues, went to Spain, went to Italy 2009 through 2014, and then was claimed off waivers from the White Sox on October of 2015. It was the first roster move by GM David Stearns, and boy did he produce. 20 starts, 9 wins, a 2.81 ERA, and here he is on opening day, not just concerned about making a team, Rock. I don't even think his dreams were this big. Here he is making the start to start the season.
And remember last year in spring training, nobody really talked too much about him. He's kind of like an invisible guy in spring training. He would come in later on in games and pitch a little bit. He was impressive. He came in, he threw hard. Nobody really talked much about the splitter, but wow, when he got to the big leagues last year, they're talking about it now.
Facing his mound opponent today, John Gray, to start the inning. Gray is looking like an ace today. 4 strikeouts already. Working around a leadoff double last inning. Rockies scored on a 2-run homer by Mark Reynolds. That came with 2 outs and 2 strikes last inning.
Really the only mistake that he's made with his splitter. Made him pay.
And Gray gets sawed off. Arcia's first chance. Out number 1.
Hey, opening week is officially underway. Join the crew all week long as they continue their 4-game set with these Rockies. Tomorrow through Thursday. Thursday's a day game. Then welcome the Chicago Cubs to Miller Park Friday through Sunday. Reserve your spot today at Brewers.com.
The world champion Chicago Cubs. Sounds strange.
It was on the card, but I didn't read it.
Was it really? Nice. He did a little editorial license there, Rock. Well done. I didn't know that.
Right.
Very
I guess
good.
if you don't know that the Cubs won the World Series, you're not a baseball fan.
What a great World Series it was, by the way. Thrilling World Series. Indians and the Cubs.
Yeah.
And
Cubs win 3 in a row.
Fantastic postseason last year. Just spins us into what we are all expecting to be a great 2017 season. Top of the order, Charlie Blackmon, one of the best center fielders in the game right here. Drops a bunt down that will stay on the line. Fair. Bandy's throw is high, and Blackmon, who runs well, will be safe at first.
Yeah, did everything right, but a high throw. Well, wasn't bunted too far from home plate. I think Bandy had more time than he thought. And he spun around and gave it everything he had. Didn't even make the grass, hardly. High throw gets him. I mean, if he takes a little bit more time, he's going to get him.
So the first error of the season belongs to the Brewer catcher. And now Guerra back in the stretch with a runner at first. And DJ LeMahieu coming up. Blackmon will run. He is a stolen base threat always.
And DJ LeMahieu handles the bat extremely well. If there is a hit and run guy in the big leagues, LeMahieu's one of them. You don't see a lot of that, but he can certainly shoot that hole between first and second when Blackmon takes off. Handles the bat very well.
LeMahieu, the batting champion in the National League a year ago. A Gold Glover in 2014, was an All-Star in 15. A big part of what the Rockies hope to be this year. There goes Blackmon, broken bat on the ground. Arcia goes to second, safe there, out at first.
I tell you, that was a heck of a turn by VR because Blackmon was all over him. He slid into second base, kind of came up, and VR had to throw it all arm. Wasn't really able to use his legs at all, and that was a terrific turn. Check this out. I mean, Blackmon right on him. And watch the way he has to make this throw. Comes up, can barely even see the base, and he makes a good throw to first. Yeah, good effort by Arcia because you know you're going to get the guy at first. But check out that play by VR. That's what we were talking about when we came on the air. about how exciting those two are going to be up the middle. Very athletic.
It's a terrific play. The great throwing arm of VR, who gets the everyday second base job. Scooter Gennett placed on waivers, claimed by the Reds. There's a pickoff attempt, and they got him. So Blackmon, with Carlos Gonzalez at the plate, is picked off second base. There's the other part of that Keystone combo. They feel the game well. And a bullet from Guerra as Arcia comes in to pick off Blackmon. What a play. Inning over. They have the early lead. Brewers are coming up, and we are pleased to be joined now by the Brewers owner Mark Atanasio with his wife Debbie. And opening day once again. Mark, how's it feel for you?
You know, they asked me and Bob Uecker if it ever gets tired, and it doesn't. Opening day is the best.
Tell us who you have with you. I see, first of all, your Penn, your Joe Penn, your father, your late father. And I know opening day is always special for you and special memories with your dad and how he used to sing the national anthem to get us started. Now your son, Mike, sang the anthem here today. It was great.
Yeah, no, Mike, you know, we wanted to honor my dad. So last year, Mike and his older brother Dan sang. Dan got married 13 months ago and is about 2 weeks away from having his first child. So he's got a travel ban right now.
Nice. And the math works out well for that. That's good.
Yeah, actually, Debbie and I are we had Dan 13 months after we got married. So
we
there's
call
a nice symmetry with that.
Are we going grandpa or pawpaw, or where are we going with that?
Yeah, we're going to see organically how that all plays out.
Here's Arcia lining one to center. That's down, a base hit. And Arcia with a single. Well, Mark, I know there's a lot to talk about with the ball club, but before we dive in with the players, and I know you're excited about what's on the field this year, but just give us a sense. There have been a ton of changes at Miller Park, not so much that we can see from this side of the field, but the $20 million renovation through the concourses and the concessions. And I mean, this ballpark just has a great feel right now.
Yeah, it jumps out at you. Even, you know, I can see the signage from the seats here. We're able to bring a lot of branded food products into the stadium that our fans enjoy, local branded food products. And it's a nice bunt.
And a fair ball, and Guerra, who is limping on the sacrifice bunt. Not sure what's going on here.
Coming out of the box after the bunt. That's not good.
Looks like, I don't know if it's a cramp or something more significant. Athletic trainer Dan Wright.
Sometimes, you know, after a bunt or even a swing, I mean, you kind of get out of that box quickly. You might stretch something, and it doesn't look good at all.
Well, give us a second, Mark, here to try to follow this through. Let's see.
He He's wincing a little bit.
Derek Johnson's already on the phone to the bullpen as we take a look at something's grabbing him.
Yeah, check it out. Everything looks good right here. Then right here is you know, where he starts feeling it when he's running. Not sure what it is, but that is not looking good for Junior Guerra. Right about there.
That initial step back, that right leg, lower right leg, calf, Achilles, who knows? But well, the bullpen is now scrambling into action. So Tommy Malone will start to get loose, the long man. Not what you want to see. That kind of puts a damper on things, but
no, Junior was pitching really well today too. One mistake, that was it. Really looked good from down here today.
Good location, fastballs and splitters down. Mark, tell us a little bit about how your assessment of the team right now. I mean, you know, this whole process of you know, redoing the organization a little bit started a couple of years ago. How do you feel things are going, and where do you think the team is at this point?
We're all very excited where the team is at this point. If you look at today's starting lineup, every one of these players, every single one could be part of our next playoff push, and that's a great opportunity for each of them, but it's importantly something each of them in their own way earned. Whereas Jonathan VR last year, who was right on the cusp of 20 homers and 60 stolen bases. Eric Thames, who just lit up the Korean League. You know, Ryan Braun, obviously perennial all-star. Travis Shaw is going to hit Miller Park. We saw it today, and could go down the line in this. But that's very exciting. You know, the fact that Hernan Perez, who's really good, is, you know, he will play a lot this year, but he's not in the starting lineup. That, I think, gives you a sign of how good this team is now.
Second out as VR strikes out, and you mentioned Thames, who was right in front of you for a moment, now on his way to the plate. Can you give us a little bit of insights on, from the owner's perspective, how that deal went down? It's a multi-year contract for a guy who was in Korea.
Well, this was, you know, in the scope of taking risks, there's arguably some risk here because it wasn't clear how those astronomical numbers in Korea were going to translate to the United States. And both our scouts who watched him and our analytics thought it was going to translate quite nicely. Now, he'd been a player in the U.S. before he went there, but he changed his approach at the plate and did a few other things, made a few other adjustments. And the guys are very excited about what they think he can do for us over the next few years.
His second at bat as a member of the Brewers after striking out his first time up. I know he is anxious to perform, and he's got a multi-year deal, which does, I'm sure, give him a little comfort that he doesn't have to look over his shoulder so much. And I'm sure there's going to be an adjustment period here for Thames. But he would love to get something started right now with 2 outs.
Mark, it was very exciting, you know, down in spring training to see a lot of these young players. I mean, young players at the big league level for sure. You know, up the middle, you got Broxton out there, you got Arcia, VR, but some of these kids in the minor leagues that were sent down after spring training, incredible talent. I mean, your assessment of what you saw from those guys.
Well, I think, you know, going into the last weekend, we led all the major leagues, both the Grapefruit and Cactus League, in absolutely every offensive category. And a lot of that was kind of the next wave of players that's coming because they played more of the games. And, you know, that I think just shows, that's one of the many indications that shows us we're on the right path. I think, you know, this Baseball America right now has Lewis Brinson on their cover. And they talk about, you know, I think the headline is "The Prospects That Will Make Milwaukee Famous." You know, I continue to say on the broadcast here, we hang banners for winning at this level, not in the minor leagues. But, you know, I think that it kind of tells us that we're on the right track when you see qualitatively what's going on.
Lewis Brinson will begin the year at AAA, power-packed outfield in Colorado Springs this year. 2-2 to Thames, down and away, 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Mark, I wanted to ask you, I mean, you're a baseball traditionalist. I mean, what do you think of some of the rules changes that have been brought about this year? I mean, you don't have to throw the 4 pitches for a walk. What are your thoughts on that?
You know, I was listening to the broadcast Saturday, and they had an intentional walk, and I heard Bob Uecker's comments on it. I think think I'm with Bob. It's a little. I'd like to. I know we're trying to speed the game up, but I'd like to see the pitcher actually have to execute those pitches.
Well, there's ball 4. Thames draws the walk, and the Brewers with 2 on. First time they've had multiple runners reach base, and here comes Ryan Braun.
All of a sudden, Gray's starting to throw the breaking pitch, and he's not able to throw that pitch for strikes, if you've noticed. The only thing he's really throwing for strikes right now. The only slider he's got an out on was that strikeout to Bandy, but everything else, the outs have been coming on fastball.
Rock, if you look at that at bat for Eric, I think that's one of the things our guys saw. His on base percentage was like .420 in the Korean League, and he saw a lot of breaking balls there, and they thought he developed a good pitch recognition on the breaking ball. I think we just saw it there. Now that's one at bat and all that, but that was a good at bat for Eric.
Big spot early for the Brew Crew with Ryan Braun coming up. 2 outs in the inning, 2 on. Arcia at second. He runs well. Thames at first.
That's the thing about the base on balls, Mark. I mean, it's just a walk, but what it does, it extends the inning for Ryan Braun to do some damage. So that's a situation right there where a walk could be a pivotal point in an inning.
Yeah, and Thames, by the way, he's an average. David told me he's an average runner against all players. He's actually pretty good, pretty athletic. So he's not just an average runner for first baseman. So we have a very exciting athletic team, I think, here.
It'll be fun to see him run a little bit. Braun would like to get him in motion. At the risk with 2 outs here, Mark, quick thoughts on Ryan Braun and the fact that he's back. There was so much discussion and trade discussion last year with Ryan, but he remains in a Brewers uniform, and here he is, the staple of the lineup.
Well, and it's great to have a player of his caliber and his tenure with the organization in this spot here, especially on opening day with a full crowd. Look, Ryan is a 30 home run, 90 to 100 RBI, 300 hitter, and we value that. And everybody's talked a lot about payroll in Wisconsin. Here our payroll is very comfortable. We don't need to save money. So I'm delighted Ryan's back.
Something you don't hear an owner say often publicly. We don't need to save money. And Braun, a swing and a miss. I think he thought that was 3 strikes. I'm not sure what he was walking across for, but only 2.
That is good movement. I mean, Gray, just like Junior was throwing good two-seamers pretty well. That ball had some movement on it. I think it surprised Brawny.
By the way, Sophia is down there. We will get a report on Junior Guerra as fast as we can. And he has been taken back to the clubhouse.
Connor Malone still throwing, so that's probably answers your question.
2-2 the count on Braun. 2 on, 2 out. Inside, ball 3. Now in his 11th big league season. Rookie of the year in 07, MVP 2011. And the backbone of this lineup that the Brewers hope will produce a ton of runs this season.
Yeah, big pitch. Walters wants to go out and have a chat with Gray. Question is he confident enough with the slider to throw it to Braun here? If he hangs it, Ryan Braun might hit it out of here.
I know you're a superstitious guy down there, Mark. Anything lucky you are sporting today? Maybe that tie?
Well, I thought you were commenting because as Rock talked about that, I started shifting in my seat.
Is that your move?
And I'm comfortable with some forward-looking speaking like that.
Okay.
I got my Joe button on today. That's
there you go.
That's my good luck charm.
Full count. Runners will start with the pitch. There they go. And Braun strikes out. Boy, John Gray is electric. A strikeout to end the inning. Mark, always great to visit. Great to be here for opening day. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks. Go Brewers.
Yeah, Mark Anadasio, Brewers owner. And Tommy Malone is coming in. So Guerra is gone. Opening day sights and sounds. Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Roof is closed at Miller Park on a cold afternoon. 2-0 Rockies, and Junior Guerra, the opening day starter for the Brewers, after a bunt, left the game, is in the clubhouse. We're still awaiting word, and that means Tommy Milone, the long man in the bullpen who battled for a starting job in spring training, is on the mound.
Yeah, the Brewers picked him up as a free agent back on December of last winter. You see his numbers with the Twins. He made 7 appearances, 3 of them starts in spring training. I mean, he was going along pretty good until his last couple of outings, but still remains the only left-hander in the Brewers pitching staff right now, working out of the bullpen.
Brewers have 2 new pieces out there with Milone and Jared Hughes, who has not pitched yet for Milwaukee. Been in spring training with the Pirates, just arrived to town. And so Milone will take over for Guerra, who goes 3 innings, gives up 2 runs. 4 strikeouts for Guerra. That 2-run home run by Reynolds on his only bad split finger fastball of the game, and Reynolds ended up making him pay. Carlos Gonzalez leads off. Arenado to follow, then Story.
Well, you just hope it's nothing real serious for Junior Guerra, but the way they were moving that leg around and the way he was flinching, you got to wonder what's going on with that injury.
0-2 to Gonzalez. Now, we've just been told Junior Guerra has a right calf strain. Did it on that step after the bunt. You could tell he stepped back and it grabbed him immediately. So not the kind of start as Milone tickles the edge for a called strike 3. And Gonzalez is a strikeout victim. So Rock, this is what happened here with Junior Guerra.
Yeah, right here is when he felt that calf go, and question is, how bad is it? You don't know until he'll probably show up at the ballpark tomorrow, get an assessment, but right there it didn't look very good, did it? Athletic trainer Dan Wright taking a look at him. Tommy Milone, he's a guy that can give you a few innings.
Been a starter in the big leagues. Came out of the bullpen a little bit last year. That's a little jam shot. Dame's getting turned around. Long run, can't make the play. And a little flare base hit for Nolan Arenado.
And not a whole lot you can do about that one right there. A jam shot, good pitch. Tommy Milone getting in on his hands, and Arenado able to fight it off. He hit the glove exactly where Bandy wanted it, but put it in no man's land. Base hit.
And riding action from the left-handed pitcher.
That's a tough play for a first baseman.
I was surprised Thames gave it that good of an effort. That is way out in the grass. Playing Arenado to pull mostly. So that's why VR wasn't in the vicinity. Here's Trevor Story. Story last time up struck out. One of the 4 Guerra strikeouts. Milone now with his 4th organization. Started with the Nationals, came up with Washington, and then had a couple of years in Oakland. Was traded from the A's to the Twins during the 2014 season, and then the last 2+ seasons with the Twins. Last year he pitched in 19 games, 7 of those coming out of the bullpen. Made 12 starts.
And relies on command. He doesn't throw very hard. Kind of spots his fastball. He'll turn it over. Breaking pitches. Tries to keep hitters off balance.
Made a start in the postseason game for the Oakland Athletics back in 2012. That was in a series against Detroit. Pitched well, actually, in his lone start in 2012. So has a little bit of postseason experience. He is 30 years of age this season. His age 30 season, best way to say that. Arenado at first. Rockies lead 2-0 on a Mark Reynolds 2-run homer in the second.
Pretty good move to first base. Arenado, not a big lead. He's not a guy that's going to run a whole lot.
In the left field, down for a base hit. Braun trying to cut it off, does so. Arenado is on his way to third, and that's going to be a double for Trevor Story. And here come the Rockies now. Back-to-back hits. Extra base hit for the Rockies shortstop. Second and third with one away.
Yeah, had Story out on the end, but it was up in the zone. You see that changeup trying to get away from him. It was away, but it was up, and that allowed Story to get a bat on it and hook it down the line. Yeah, you get that pitch 2 or 3 inches down a little bit, it's probably going to be a ground ball. Arenado not really all that fast, but able to cruise on into third base.
First hit of the year for Trevor Story. 2 on with 1 away. Here is Gerardo Parra now. Parra, a strikeout victim, his first time up. And he lines the first pitch into center field, a base hit. Arenado will come in to score. They'll hold Story, and on the first pitch, the left-handed hitting Parra delivers an RBI single. It's 3-0.
Hey, you got to figure that this Rocky offense is feeling pretty good. Anybody but Junior Guerra's got to look good out there. He was so good. Look at the location, you know, down the middle, up on the slider, and Gerardo Parra would stay right on it and line it into center field. Pretty much throws over the top, which kind of nullifies a little advantage, or I should say a lot of the advantage a left-handed pitcher has against a left-handed hitter.
Mark Reynolds now with 1 away. 3 consecutive hits. 3-0 Colorado. Reynolds takes a ball inside. Malone and Chase Anderson looked like they were going to be the 2 odd men out. There were 7 pitchers for 5 rotation spots, and really leading up to the plane ride from Phoenix to Milwaukee. And then suddenly Matt Garza comes up with a groin injury. He's on the 10-day disabled list. By the way, remember, it's a new disabled list
right
these days. No longer is there a 15-day DL. It's a 10-day DL. So Garza goes on the DL. Chase Anderson enters the rotation. And now Junior Guerra leaves the game today. Tommy Malone coming in, and would be a spot to fill if Guerra's injury is significant.
And a 10-day DL means for a pitcher, that's 2 starts. That's not a big deal. I think you're going to see more guys go on the DL and have that marginal injury, because that's a big difference. You know, 10, 15 days. You're going to see teams use that disabled list a little bit more.
Leaves a manager and a ball club in a little better position with their roster. Oftentimes, and Ryan Braun comes to mind. Ryan Braun might be down for what you know maybe 4 or 5 days, but you don't want to put him on the disabled list to take him through 15 days. So then you have to play a man short, and now players, I'm sure, will be more willing to go on the disabled list to make sure you're not playing with a short roster.
All in an effort to keep guys healthy throughout the year. Your stars to be healthy throughout the year.
Three balls and a strike. Tommy Malone trying to put the lid back on it here. On the ground. Arcia to VR. Quick turn and not in time.
Boy, amazing it was even that close.
Story in to score. I'm sure they will want to take a look at this. If it is not overturned, it'll be an RBI for Reynolds, and it would be 4-0.
Look at this. I mean, I thought maybe he'd come home. Check this out. Look at the arm for VR, and that is pretty close. Bang, bang. Can't really tell right there. Yeah, he's safe.
Yep.
You only have 2 minutes to take a look at these. 30 seconds to determine whether you want to challenge, and then once you have a challenge, Great Counsel says nothing doing. That wasn't even that close. Review only has 2 minutes. That's a big difference this year.
For Mark Reynolds. 4-0. Tony Walters now batting 8th in this Rockies lineup.
I mean, just to make it that close is, I think that's a pretty incredible play by both Arcia, who had to come in, make a strong throw off balance, and then you had VR. Looked like he got handcuffed a little bit, but it was all arm to get it to make that play close to at first base.
Out to Arcia. He'll take it himself, and the inning is over, but a productive one for Colorado. They scored twice. Travis Shaw, who has a double today, he'll lead off. We're headed to the bottom of the 4th. Brewers now down 4-0. Join us here in the booth. Happy opening day to you. Now your second official opening day as a general manager. How's it feel?
Feels good. Second one is always a little bit more familiar than the first. It's obviously a packed house, an excited crowd for baseball, so it's great to get the season going.
All right, well, we'll go through this roster. Can we ask you, do you have any information on Junior Guerra? Have you been sent any information other than the calf strain?
That's really all we have at this point. We'll evaluate it a little bit more after the game and probably into tomorrow, and we'll see where we go from here. Obviously, Junior is a valuable member of our pitching staff. He got the opening day nod for a reason, so we'll have to determine whether it's a DL placement, and if so, who takes the spot.
Man, tough blow on opening day to see your starting pitcher, and what a great story Junior is as we watch Travis Shaw. Before we move on from Junior Guerra, it is a phenomenal achievement that he ends up on the mound on opening day here, and he was your first acquisition as general manager. It's got to make you proud to see him get this assignment.
It does, and it speaks a lot to Junior's character, how much he's battled throughout his career, what he did for us last year after coming up and really carrying it over to this spring. We feel very confident whenever he's on the mound. If he has to take a little time off right now, we know he'll work hard to get back and pitch well when he's back.
You know, one thing that we were just talking about is Shaw has rung up John Gray picks up his 7th strikeout, but well, we were just talking about the 10-day disabled list and how that might change for you from a clerical perspective. What kind of result will that lead to in your mind?
Well, it certainly gives you less trepidation about putting a player on the DL when maybe it's a slightly more minor injury. The 10-day window allows you to get that extra arm or the extra position player on the roster without fear of losing that injured player for a full 2 weeks. So I think it was the right move by Major League Baseball. It's certainly something that the vast majority of clubs supported, and I'm sure we'll make use of it throughout this season.
Yeah, it's just a way to keep your stars on the field, right? You may lose them for 10 days. I mean, it's a big difference, 10 days, 2 weeks, right? I mean,
it is. Some of these soft tissue injuries that we have really don't require the full 2 weeks for a player to come back, but they do require more than the 3 or 4 days that you're generally comfortable playing short. So that 10-day window is a nice time frame to have, and we'll see how it plays out throughout the course of the year.
You know, and watching Junior Garrett today, I was reminded how difficult it can be sometimes to evaluate talent in spring training, particularly Arizona.
Particularly pitchers.
Right. I mean, Junior really struggled his last 2 outings, and I think, you know, in the back of everybody's mind, how's he going to be able to respond to that? And he was outstanding today. So I guess spring training results don't always tell the full picture.
Yeah, I think they often do not tell the full picture. I think spring training results are just that. They're spring training, and guys react to spring training in different ways. Younger guys who are fighting for a spot play a little bit differently than guys who know they're getting on the team, guys who are a little bit more established. And the key is to get through spring training healthy and ready for the season.
How do you assess where your organization, where your team is right now based on where you started last year?
Well, we think we're making progress. We think we've accumulated a nice group of young talent that can grow together, can develop together, can be part of a consistently competitive team together. And we need to remain patient, allow this group to coalesce and transform into a consistently competitive team within this division. And some of the guys who we're watching today are going to be part of that group. Some of the guys who are coming up behind them are going to be part of that group. And I'm excited to see it all take shape.
Visiting with General Manager David Stearns, taking over this ball club for Doug Melvin now year 2, and we've talked a lot about in your early stages of this position, the relationship with Craig Counsell, and how would you say that has evolved now that you're moving into year 3 with him as the field manager?
Well, I think Craig does an outstanding job. We've seen how he represents our organization in a variety of different roles. He did it well in the field for a long time. He did it in the front office, and now he gets to do it for us as our leading voice in the dugout. He and I get along well. We've enjoyed working with each other, and together we're looking forward to building this organization and team into the future.
Broxton bounces out on a broken bat, and our time is quick here, David. Congratulations on opening day.
Thanks, Mia.
And his second full season as general manager. David Stearns has been our guest. The Brewers down 4-0, and we head to the 5th.
trailing the Rockies here 4-0 on opening day, and you can join Major League Baseball in the fight against cancer. MLB will celebrate the stories of fans who are going to bat against breast cancer in their daily lives by selecting one honorary Batgirl per club. You can visit honorarybatgirl.com to submit your story or your nomination by April 12th. BA?
All right, Sophia. Great to be here with Sophia and all of our terrific Fox Sports Wisconsin crew. Another baseball season is underway as Tommy Milone continues. John Gray, the starting pitcher, at the plate, pops up for out number 1. Rock, we had a chance to gather our crew together the other day, and thrilled to have Renardo Lowe join us, our director, who's been with us off and on the last couple of years, but more significant role this year. Brent Reland, our producer, and some of the best technicians in the business, camera operators, audio, graphics, video. We love our crew, and we're glad to get going again.
Yeah, it was great getting an invite out to the Anderson Estate out there in the Lake Country. Thank you very much.
You left quite a mark on my house. And get that taken care of over the next few weeks.
Yeah, well, I do appreciate it. You didn't have to make me, rake leaves or, kind of do yard work before I came in. But, hey, anything to get to the Anderson Castle.
Pre-game producer James Stewart doing a terrific job as well. And then our on-air team, Craig Kashan, Jerry Augustine. By the way, we want to wish Davey Nelson well. He's been a little under the weather, has not arrived into Milwaukee just yet. So we're thinking about Davey and hope he recovers quickly.
Got a bout with the flu, I think it is. And I'm sure Davey's watching. It is good to be back doing games that actually matter. I think the players, as spring training goes along, very long spring training this year, and the old baseball classic, all baseball fans know the story, but those games get, spring training gets a little bit long, especially when games, there's not the strategy to win the games. But I know the last week of spring got a little long for the guys, but they are very happy to be at Miller Park and playing games for the regular season. And it's good to be doing them.
If it was up to Ryan Braun, he'd have 2 weeks of spring training, he said. That's all he needs.
Well, how long is the minor league spring training? It's not that long, right? I mean, was it 3 weeks? A little longer than that.
Sounds about right. They open up later this week.
They open up Thursday, I think, right?
I think pitchers need that extra time. The WBC, which is a great event.
Right.
I think it's important for baseball. And
how great was that?
Brewers have had 9 players compete at some level in the World Baseball Classic, and fantastic event that is important to the game of baseball, and especially the global game of baseball. Congratulations to the United States winning the WBC. VR participated for the Dominican Republic in the WBC. Hernan Perez, among others. 3-2 pitch, little jam shot foul by Blackman.
I talked to Jonathan Lucroy when that thing was all over, and he said that was by far one of the greatest experiences of his sports life. Going through that, the WBC, and having the U.S. win. So congratulations to Luke.
Tommy Milone trying to take care of Blackman, and a ground ball foul. That bat is still intact, but Milone is rattling it in all places. Into the bat, jam shots.
Yeah, it's hitting everywhere but the sweet spot. Let's hope it stays that way.
Which is the idea, right? A long battle here with the Rockies leadoff hitter, Blackman. This will be the 10th pitch of the at-bat. Charlie reached on an error in the 3rd, popped up his first time up, and he fouls another one away. He'll see at least 11. The fantastic Rockies leadoff man who hit 29 homers and 82 RBIs last year. And there's a liner foul. Just foul.
Just rocking the boat, just a little bit off, adding a little bit.
If If you're just joining us, Junior Guerra, the opening day starter, had to leave the game after dropping down a successful sacrifice bunt. Tweaked his calf, a calf strain, right calf strain for Guerra. Malone took over in the 4th inning, gave up a couple of runs on 3 hits. RBIs from Gerardo Parra and Mark Reynolds. Rockies got a 2-run homer from Mark Reynolds in the 2nd. There's a swing and a miss. He finally got him. And a long battle with Charlie Blackmon ends in a strikeout for Malone, which is his 2nd.
It looked like a cut fastball, something that was going away. That's changeup. I'm sorry. Yeah, through the changeup, you don't see too many left-handed pitchers throw changeups to left-handed hitters. But I guess if you throw everything at him and he's fouling everything off, you try something, and it worked.
12-pitch at bat. Blackmon strikes out for out number 2, and here is DJ LeMahieu. In there for a strike. You'll notice Malone, even though he does not throw hard, and that fastball there at 88 is about his best bolt. He will work inside, though.
Well, he's got to. I mean, guys that rely on turning it over and keeping guys off balance with the off-speed stuff. You got to straighten them up once in a while. Keep them honest inside. Speed that bat up any way you can, but you got to throw it for a strike.
LeMahieu gets jammed. Nice easy hop for Arcia. And that's a good inning for Malone. 3 up, 3 down. Let's see if the Brewers can put some runs on the board. It's 4-0 Colorado. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Lead over the Brewers 4-0 as we go to the bottom of the 5th. And time now to take a look at our home turf, brought to you by True Green. We take you around the outfield walls of Miller Park and the different distances from home plate. Alleys are hitter friendly, the lines are not. Ball does travel well. Got that little cutout, the Robin Yount designed piece in center field that does produce a few triples.
Extra wide warning track.
That's a 5-stepper, they say.
Yeah, it used to give visiting outfielders problems, but not anymore.
Jet Bandy leads off for Milwaukee. And John Gray is pitching a gem so far.
Yeah, amazing. I mean, the way he's been able to power that fastball by these Brewers, throwing just enough off-speed pitches.
Bandy into center field, a base hit. So the new Brewer catcher with his first hit as a Brewer, and it's a leadoff single here in the 5th inning.
They went down and got a fastball 94 miles an hour from John Gray. Watch him go down and get it, a 2-seamer. Picking that one right off the dirt. Nice level swing. Good balance. I mean, that's textbook right there. Go down with the knees and level out that swing.
Lead man on here in the 5th. Here is Arcia, who singled his first time up. First at bat of the year, delivered one to center field. And he's up there hacking. This will be a very interesting season for Orlando Arcia. Made it to the big leagues last year. The top prospect in the Brewer organization. Last spring training game in Arizona, hit a couple of home runs in a game, and opposite field home runs. And he is an up the middle right field type hitter, which will play well for him, you would think.
And he did it against Corey Kluber. He's not bad.
Not a bad guy to have on your resume. Former Cy Young Award winner. Well, Arcia, you know you're going to get great defense. He is a special shortstop. I mean, he is one of the elites in the game. And what he does at the plate here is going to be what either has him as a major league regular rock or a major league star. And if he hits, and he hits for a little power like he showed in Arizona against the Indians, then you're talking about a guy who would blossom into a star in this game.
And he doesn't have to hit 300 to be a star. I mean, if he's got a little bit of pop in that bat, which he does, and hit about 275, 280, I think the Brewers would be just delighted with that. And continue to evolve and improve and mature defensively.
Arcia made his big league debut last year in August 2nd. Played in 55 major league games last year and hit .219. Did have 4 homers. Stole 8 bases. He's a guy that ideally you'd hope hit in the 270, 280 range, and maybe 10 or 12 homers a year. And he shows a good eye, so he got deep in the count. He draws a walk. And Arcia is aboard, and suddenly the Brewers have something cooking here. And Craig Counsell is going to take a swing from his bench in the 5th inning with big Jesus Aguilar.
Yeah, bring him in when he's hot. Oh, what a spring training he had. But how about John Gray going with a slider and a 3-1 pitch to Orlando Arcia? That was a surprise. Missed with it.
Well, Aguilar will get his first Brewers at bat. Was with the Indians mostly in AAA last year. Was a dominant hitter at the AAA level, and gets a chance in the big leagues this season. 26 years of age. And on the first pitch, he lines one into left field. Welcome to Milwaukee. He stays hot. Aguilar with a base hit. Pinch hit single. Bases loaded.
Just an incredible spring training. I don't remember a guy having a spring training like that ever. 7 home runs, 19 RBIs. There's that 2-seam fastball from Gray right down the middle. Look at Aguilar. Nice, easy swing. And hits a bullet out there into left field. Now that brings the top of the order. So the bottom of the order getting it done with nobody out. Now it's time to get back into this game.
Jesus Aguilar.
Not that easy.
Went 30 and 90 last year in AAA. 30 homers, 92 RBIs. Those were his spring training numbers. Craig Counsell said it's one of the great spring trainings he has ever seen. And that's not a guy who's throwing out a lot of hyperbole either.
Me too. I mean, I've never seen a guy hit like that.
He was a dominant performer, and he hit his way onto the big league roster.
And he hit some of the longest home runs I've seen at Maryvale Baseball Park. I mean, he hit one into center field. This is it right here, I think. Watch how far this one goes. Over the white railing out there in center field.
Oh, my goodness.
See you later. Have you ever seen one out there?
I don't think I have.
No.
All right, so we didn't have a chance to talk about it much swinging at the first pitch, but he's got the Brewers set up. Top of the order now. Bases loaded, nobody out. And VR lines one into left center. It's down, a base hit. And it's fumbled in center field. All runners advancing to score. VR into second base. It is 4-2 Rockies.
They didn't mess around after a couple of strikeouts picking on the first pitch. Brewers being very aggressive in this inning. They're jumping all over these first pitch fastballs. And the Brewers cut the lead in half. Here it is. Two-seamer down the middle, and VR puts a nice swing on it for a couple of RBIs. That Brewers still in business, second and third, nobody out.
2 RBIs for sure. Whether it's scored a single or a double, we will wait. But look at VR. Always animated. And this crowd on their feet with that. It will be scored as a double. 2 RBI double for VR. Now it is Thames who takes strike 1. That's how it is officially scored. The bobble not affecting the outcome much in center field, according to Tim O'Driscoll, the official scorer. And now Thames in the right field. Base hit. Into scored Aguilar. Here comes VR. Into second is Thames. We are tied. Two RBI double for Eric Thames.
Yeah, that pitch middle in. And they were set up away. They missed with the spot, and Bud Black on his way out to get his right-hander. Well, bottom of the order, setting it up here in this inning. And the top 2 in the order, driving them in. Kind of ran out of gas. Pitch count over 70. Try to get a changeup, left it in. That's not where you want it. You leave that pitch away, it might be a different result. But inside, able to get the barrel of the bat on it and tie it up.
Well, how good does that feel for Eric Thames? New team, new contract, back in the big leagues, and delivers a 2 RBI double. Chases the starter. All tied at 4. We got a brand new ball game. Still nobody out. Brewers threaten pitching change at Miller Park. Brought to you by the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly. And by Toyota, let's go places. What a turnaround. The Brewers have tied it up. 4 runs in here in the 5th inning. And the starter Gray is out. Reliever Scott Oberg is in for Colorado.
Yeah, last 2 seasons with the Rockies. You see his numbers a year ago, 24 appearances out of the bullpen.
Oberg will face Ryan Braun. Thames out at second base, just drove in 2 to tie it. And Braun a swing and a miss. Well, that was a lightning quick comeback for Milwaukee. John Gray, who was rolling through the first 4 innings, essentially gave up 4 runs in 11 pitches.
Right, a lot of early swings by the Brewers.
4 hits and a walk in an 11-pitch span.
11 pitches, 5 of those pitches came to Arcia.
That's right.
In a walk. Yeah.
Arcia drew the walk after Bandy had started the inning with a base hit, and how fast it can go. You're not thinking 11 pitches and you've given up a 4 spot. Still a runner that is his responsibility at second and Thames. Braun trying to give the Brewers the lead. Nobody out. Braun down 0-2. And down he goes. Strikeout to Braun.
And another guy that can rush it up there pretty good. Mid-90s, got a curveball and a changeup. That's the same pitch that Gray struck out Braun his last time up. Took a little off going down and in on him.
1 away. That'll bring up Travis Shaw. Had the first Brewers hit of the season. A double down the left field line. He slapped one just inside the line past third. Oberg, a good comeback story. Had blood clots in his right arm. Very scary situation. And has recovered and on a big league roster once again. Rockies feel very good about their pitching now. They are very young. Youngest staff in the big leagues. But if they pitch at all, they are going to contend.
Well, you know they're going to score runs. I mean, you got a heck of a lineup, and they play in a very offensive ballpark. It's always been the case for the Rockies. They've always been able to score runs. Getting the other team out has been the issue, and that was certainly the issue last year for him.
Bud Black in his first year, former manager of the year with the Padres, 9 years with San Diego, and he's got a great pitching coach. The man to his left, Steve Foster, who has Wisconsin ties. He is in the Wausau Hall of Fame, as a matter of fact. That is a tough job to be a pitching coach. There's Shaw, base hit, right center. Coming in to score, Thames. On his way to second is Shaw. He's in there. It's an RBI double. And the Brewers have taken the lead in the 5th inning. What an inning and what a debut for Travis Shaw. 2 hits and now a go-ahead RBI.
Had the count in his favor. Our Jimmy John's delivery of the game, a cutter, left it out over the plate, and he hit a bullet up the middle for an RBI for the Brewers' 5th run of the game. Well, the Brewers came into this inning with 1 hit. They got 6 in this inning.
Still just 1 out.
Check that. They had 2 hits. They got 5 in this inning. Still pretty good.
5 hits and a walk here in this inning. Domingo Santana trying to keep it going. 3rd double of the inning. VR drove in 2 with a double. Thames drove in 2 to tie it with a double. And now Shaw with a 2-base hit to score Thames. Big swing by Santana. Domingo 0 for 2. He's got as much power as anyone, especially in the right center and right field.
And that's what he was working on in spring training. And he talked to Darnell Coles about Santana. He will talk about the focus that he needs to have gap to gap. Left center around the right center. If he does that, able to keep the ball in the middle of the field, he still has enough power to hit it out of the ballpark.
Down in the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Runner at second, Shaw, and that one's outside. Once Santana got healthy and he came back from multiple arm injuries, elbow and shoulder, he hit the ball well. Had a good finish to his season last year. In his last 24 games, he hit 7 homers. Hit 301, 7 homers, 17 RBIs, and he's hit by a pitch. On a 2-2 offering, Santana is drilled. And the Brewers are going to bat around in this 5th.
Trying to stay in on the hands of Santana. Just got away from him a little bit. And the beat goes on to Milwaukee. There it is right there. And it looks like it may be a cutter grip and a spin, but didn't do anything.
That's more than a graze, but not a direct hit. And Santana, pointing in his jersey, maybe took the brunt of that. So with 2 strikes, he's hit by a pitch. First and second now for Keon Broxton. It's been a 5-run 5th inning. Brewers looking for more as Ober deals strike 1. Shaw and Santana on base. Oh, and 2 on Broxton. Might notice Keon wears that guard, that protective guard around his jaw. He does that only as a precaution. He and Jonathan Villar started that. No serious injury to speak of that led to it. He just felt like if he got used to seeing through it, and he did, he worked with it this spring, he decided to put it in play.
A lot of guys did. Some liked it, some didn't. But, you know, if it allows you to stay in there a little bit longer, you know, with that protector, why not? Doesn't really affect your vision.
No balls, 2 strikes. In the dirt. Good block back there by Walters. 1 and 2.
A lot of guys that feel as though they're being pitched inside a lot, they might go to that.
Ouch. Busted inside. That's a foul ball.
Yeah, I'm not sure where that hit. That hit the knob of the bat, just above the hands.
Oh yeah, the knob of the bat.
Knob of the bat.
Looks like he's trying to throw a cutter. Is that what you're getting there? He can't get around the baseball.
That's what the spin looks like. The grip and the spin, but it's not doing anything. Every one of them is staying inside. That's the pitch that hit Santana.
He hit Santana with a 2-strike pitch. 1 and 2 to Broxton. Outside, ball 2. 96 with that fastball from Ober. Keon was in the lineup opening day last year. His first opening day assignment. Much different circumstances this year. On the ground, gets past Ober, flipped to second for the out, and that's all they'll get. Good play out there by Story. It's the second out of the inning. Broxton will reach on a fielder's choice, and the Brewers will have him at first and third.
Yeah, pretty good pitch right there. Broxton going down just to put it in play. He runs too fast to turn a double play. Remember Story two-handing it and flipping it over to LeMahieu for the force.
Well, this would certainly be running time for Keon Broxton, and he is a stolen base threat. Stole 23 last year. Jet Bandy at the plate, the Brewer catcher who started all of this with a single, led off this 5th inning. 10th batter of the inning. Broxton is a very good base runner and base stealer.
Got a huge lead over there at first too.
Only caught 4 times last year. Was 23 out of 27. It's one thing to be fast. It's another thing to be skillful in the art of base stealing, and he has that gift. Brewers have a lot of players that are going to be pushing that 20+, 30+ stolen base total. Last year, VR led the National League with 62 steals.
Roxy can run. VR can run. You got Braun. You got Perez. Arcia can run. It's going to be fun to watch these guys.
5-4 Brewers. Bandy pulls one foul. This inning began. It was 4-0 Rockies. John Gray, the 25-year-old starter, was dealing. 7 strikeouts. And then Bandy started it with a single to center field. Brewers have had 3 doubles in this inning. RBIs from VR, Thames, and Shaw.
You know, he might have lost a little bit on the fastball, but I think the adjustments that the Brewers are making on Gray, because he wasn't really consistent with the breaking pitch, started to pay off in this inning. That's the thing, right? If you can't throw the other stuff for strikes, I mean, I don't care how hard you're throwing. These guys are going to get to it after a while.
See, Oberg lines up that changeup grip before he starts. Doesn't mean he's going to throw a changeup. That's just where he starts. Bandy gets jammed, but pulls it foul, hangs in there. Bandy projects to be a big power hitter. Hasn't been in the big leagues or played enough to show big numbers, but he did have 8 home runs last year in 70 games. A little over 200 at bats. So that's good production. No balls, 2 strikes. Inside a ball. If you do the math, you do a ratio. If you play every day, and it doesn't necessarily apply to catchers because catchers aren't like position players, but if you play every day, you get about 600 at bats a season. And so in 200 at bats, Bandy with 8 home runs, he projects to be a 20+ home run player. Doesn't mean that's always the case, but when you're evaluating players and you're trying to figure out how productive they are, then you drop the ratio and say, well, if this guy gets enough at bats, let's see what he can do in the big leagues.
Yeah, and I think that Craig Counsell is going to be mixing it up enough to keep these guys fresh. There's not going to be one guy, unless there's injuries involved, that's going to play, 3 weeks straight. You're going to give him some time, and I think their offensive production will go up.
Broxton takes off. That is a little squibber that stays fair, and Reynolds will take it to the bag. The inning is over, but what an inning it was. Started with a Rockies 4-0 lead. It's 5-4 now. 2 RBIs from VR, 2 from Thames. Shaw puts the Brewers on top. 5-4 Brew Crew as we go to the 6th.
just feel nervous, and the adrenaline is even better.
You know, everybody's ready to get to competing.
You know, obviously we're always excited.
One of the best days in the baseball season.
That it is, Domingo. It's one of our favorite days. Opening day, Major League Baseball. We got the Rockies in town for 4, then the Chicago Cubs will be here for the weekend. 7-game homestand to start the season. 5-4 Brewers, a 5-run inning, has them on top, and now Rock, it'll be Carlos Torres, 3rd pitcher used for Craig Counsell.
Yeah, picked him up, did the Brewers right before the beginning of the season last year. Look at the numbers he posted. I mean, he was very dependable. They used him a lot. 72 appearances, a 273 earned run average. And check out that opponent batting average. Talk about cut fastballs. He's got a good one. And a 217 opponent batting average last year.
He'll dive right into the heart of the Rockies order with Carlos Gonzalez leading off, then Arenado, and then Story. This is going to be one of the powerhouse lineups in all of baseball this year, the Rockies. They were last year as well. And a little jam shot out in front. Torres will play it. And there is out number 1. Gonzalez is 0 for 3. And a good start to the inning for Carlos Torres.
Yep, cutter, slider. You know, a two-seamer once in a while against a left-hander, and invaluable out of that Brewers bullpen a year ago. When did they pick him up? About 2 days before the season started?
Very similar story to Jared Hughes. He had not even pitched for the Brewers, or no one had even seen him in a game in a Brewers uniform. His first outing was on opening day last year.
Yeah, and the Brewers are hoping that Jared Hughes will have just as much of an impact, right?
Ended up being one of the unsung stars in that Brewers pen a season ago. Arenado, a little bit late, fouls it away. Well, will this be the year that Arenado pushes into that MVP in the National League? He's been knocking at the door the last few years. He is one of the great two-way players in the game. 4 consecutive Gold Gloves for Arenado. Led the National League in home runs last year with 41. If you add his RBI numbers the last 2 years, he leads all National League players. Finished 5th in the MVP voting last year. And he homered in his final spring training at bat on Saturday.
Yeah, all that, and there's nobody better defensively at third base.
Broken bat, little flare, center field. Broxton have to watch it bounce in front. And Arenado has 2 hits, both of them little flares into the outfield. Been on base all 3 times.
Yeah. You see him shaking the hands. Doesn't feel as bad right now as it would in Colorado at this point. Right off the end of the bat. His last hit on the handle, he dumped it into right field.
And he's catching it from that Brewers dugout over there. Barking at Arenado. In a loving way, I'm sure. What do you want me to do? So a man on, and here's Trevor Story now. Doubled and scored a run his last time up. Great rookie year last year for Story. Big power. A year that was cut short with a thumb injury last season.
Something about that shortstop position in Colorado, right?
They've had not just good talent, but exceptional talent. They feel like Story is going to emerge as a star as well. Troy Tulowitzki spent a decade there before being traded to Toronto.
And not just the ability of these guys, but they always seem to get hurt over there. Clint Barmas got off to a great start, got hurt. Tulowitzki, a number of injuries over at shortstop of the Rockies.
And then Story last year missing the last 60 games. There's a strike. 1-2 the count on Story. '25th anniversary of Colorado Rockies baseball. I remember that debut season so well. The Rockies and the Marlins. Here we are 25 years later. That's a strong Division II, the West. Rockies feel like they can contend this year. The Dodgers have won the last 4 West Division titles in the National League. And they're going to be right there again, you would figure.
Dodgers, Giants.
Diamondbacks are much improved. Diamondbacks had a walk-off yesterday against the Giants.
Yeah.
Their opening day.
Mark Melanson blew a save for the Giants.
That's one area the Rockies feel like they are much improved. Their bullpen, they have reloaded. They're Greg Holland closing games now.
See Madison Bumgarner's day yesterday. A couple of homers.
First time in Major League Baseball history that a pitcher hits 2 home runs on opening day. And it figures that Madison Bumgarner would do it. He's the guy that does all of that. I think he has 16 career homers now.
Yeah, something else.
On the ground, chance to turn it. Shaw, VR, Dames in time. Double play. The Brewers go around the horn. Started by Shaw. And that strong arm at second base. Well, you're going to love VR this year. What a player. How many second basemen have this kind of cannon? Double play to end it. Brewers coming up. They lead it by a run.
Of the season, the Brewers have a 5-4 lead here as we head to the 6th, and it's not just new players and a new season that fans can look forward to, but there is also a brand new food and beverage experience over the offseason. The single largest upgrade to Miller Park since it opened in 2001, with a brand new first base ward and third base ward, 11 new concession stands, 2 brand new full service bars, all kinds of great new additions. AJ Bombers, Smoke Shack barbecues, Zafiro's Pizza, new specialty tacos, Clemens all natural sausages, mac and cheese, frozen custard. There's also a brand new local brews, craft brew stand over on the Loge level. So there is a lot for Brewers fans to check out as you make your way to Miller Park here this season. And kudos to Brewers Chief Operating Officer Rick Schlesinger, Rick Abramson of Delaware North. This project was funded entirely by the Brewers and by Delaware North. And guys, it's certainly a terrific experience, and it feels new as just you walk around the concourse here at Miller Park.
It's such a great environment up there. We were passing through during the exhibition games against the Chicago White Sox, and tell you, they did a fantastic job. Credit to Rick Schlesinger, his team, Teddy Werner and company, and it gives the ballpark and the concourse a brand new feel down there. And I'm all in on the Smoke Shack. That's our spot. That's
right.
That's as good a barbecue as you'll find, and I'm glad they're in the ballpark now.
I mean, a Texas guy, you approve of the Smoke Shack?
I've been searching long to find it. As Arcia on the first pitch. Skies one to first base. Reynolds makes the catch, and out number 1.
That's a news flash, by the way.
I know.
I mean,
you don't get an endorsement from me on the barbecue unless.
Not much.
It's good.
That's outside of Texas.
What do you have on the new pitcher, Rock? Carlos Estevez.
Yeah, his first opening day roster. Estevez pitched last year with Colorado. You can see his numbers a year ago, bigger in run average, but they used him a lot as 63 appearances. You see the strikeouts, the innings pitched, not too bad.
Kirk Neuenhuis will pinch hit. Craig Counsell took a shot with Jesus Aguilar in the 5th inning, and it paid off. He got a base hit on the first pitch he saw and got a rally going. The Brewers scored 5 runs in the 5th inning. They were down 4-0, scored 5 runs on 5 hits, including 3 doubles, all producing runs from VR, Thames, and Shaw. And now back around to the 9th spot in the order with Kirk Neuenhuis.
Another hard thrower for the Rockies. This guy can rush it up there in the mid-90s, mid-upper 90s. Got a slider to go with it.
And that ball's hit hard. Center field, way back there, and it'll be caught at the wall. Wow. What a play by Blackmon. Man, oh man. He is so good going back on the ball. Maybe in another couple of months, as it warms up in Miller Park, that's going to be out.
Yeah, I thought that was out of here. The way it sounded good off the bat. That 2-seam fastball down, and Neuenhuis gives it a pretty good ride. Might have missed the sweet spot, but gave it a good ride. Blackmon never took his eye off of him. A nice catch, able to keep it in the glove, the snow cone.
399 foot out for Kirk Neuenhuis. Yeah, Estevez says touchdown. Blackmon gives you great defense, and he takes one away from Neuenhuis. So 2 men are out, top of the order now. Here is VR, shows bunt, bunts it foul. The Powerball home run leaderboard from a season ago. Braun led the club with 30. VR hit 19 to go along with his 62 stolen bases. Neuenhuis and then Perez with 13 apiece. No balls, 2 strikes on VR.
Now you got to figure these Rockies outfielders are thinking this isn't too big of an outfield here in Miller Park, because when they are home, that's the biggest outfield in baseball. They're figuring I could run that one down easy in this ballpark.
And it got him. Impressive inning for Estevez. Got a great play from Blackmon. The Brewers go in order. We go to the 7th. 5-4 Brew Crew.
The game winner, Morning's Corner in Bloomer. Bloomer is north of Chippewa Falls.
Oh yeah, everybody knows that, Rock.
If they call the Brewers by 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, they get 40 tickets to a Friday night game in the Miller Lite Beer Pen. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite. You know what Bloomer is known for? They say, since I know you don't know this, and if you did, you were cheating. They say they're the jump rope capital of the world.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Whoever they is.
The people from Bloomer.
Ah. The jump rope capital of the world.
Yeah, I got that one from Mike Faulkner.
Statsman to the stars.
Yeah, so if they indeed are not the jump rope capital of the world, it's not my fault.
Lay it on him. Jan Marinez is on to pitch. We go to the 7th inning. Marinez now part of that high leverage late lead group in the bullpen. Marinez and Knebel and the new closer Neftali Feliz if you get there. Gerardo Parra will lead off for Colorado.
And Marinez a terrific season last year. It was a little over 3 earned run average. They used him a lot. Picked him up in May from Tampa. Had 11 appearances in spring training. Pitched pretty well.
Carlos Torres works a scoreless 6th, gives up a hit, but then got a double play ball. Faced the minimum. And Marinez deals a strike. Gerardo Parra drove in a run with a single in the 4th inning. Part of a 2-run Rockies inning where they took the lead 4-0 before the Brewers hung a 5 spot on Colorado in the 5th. There's a bunt and it'll stay fair. Going to be a tough play and no play. Parra with his 2nd hit. Perfectly placed bunt and a leadoff single for Colorado. Parra had a down year last year, and the emergence of David Dahl and his playing time was in question. They signed Ian Desmond to play first base, played center field for the Texas Rangers last year. And so Parra had a great spring, and he's trying to prove he is still a factor on this multi-year deal with Colorado.
Yeah, how good was he for the Brewers a couple of years ago? Boy,
just a really good baseball player in all facets, does everything well. Reynolds takes a strike. It'll be interesting to see how Craig Counsell uses Jared Hughes, just arriving to the ball club after being waived by the Pirates. A ground ball specialist.
Middle reliever with the Pirates over the last few years.
Swing and a miss.
A good 2-seamer.
Marinez, one of the many that was the underdog to start the year, just trying to pitch for a job week by week, outing by outing, and here he is now after a terrific season last season in the late inning relief role. Andy sets up inside and Reynolds turns on it left field. That is hooking. It is down, a base hit. Braun's got it, and they're going to try to score the runner. Here comes Parra, the throw to the plate, the tag, and he's out.
All right, thank you very much. Boy, Rockies with nobody out, pushing the envelope. What a great throw in from Ryan Braun, and certainly Arcia with enough arm to get the out. I mean, that wasn't even close. Well, you never make the first out at home plate. There's a break for the Brewers. That was an 0-2 pitch right there. Made a mistake inside. Now it all starts with Ryan Braun. The first throw's got to be a good one. It is, and look at this throw. Stu Cole, the third base coach, sends Parra, and he's an easy out. A mistake by the Colorado third base coach.
Big out to get. Reynolds ends up at second base, and now a swing and a liner into right field, a base hit. Santana will play it back in. They will hold Reynolds. And the hits are coming here for Colorado. 3 consecutive. Walters with his first hit of the day. And the cutoff and relay and the cannon by Arcia. Look at this throw, right on the money.
And not even close. He's up by 5 feet.
First and third with 1 away. And Bud Black's going to go to his bench. Steven Cardula will bat. Another guy who has some thunder in that bat. He had a great spring to make this team. He's essentially the Rockies version of Jesus Aguilar. So he comes into this opening day red hot at the plate. Marinez needs a ground ball double play here.
Basically two-seam fastball and slider from Marinez. He made a mistake with that fastball to Mark Reynolds on an 0-2 pitch. You got to get that sinker going if he wants to get that ground ball.
First and third. Brewers lead by a run. Cardullo at the plate, takes a ball down and away. Wearing number 16. He traded in number 65 for number 16. That's when you know you've made the big leagues.
Yeah.
Get rid of that minor league number. 4 years of independent ball just 2 years ago. Here he is in the big leagues. And the first bat off the bench for Bud Black. Wave and a miss. Nasty breaking ball by Marinez.
Yeah, that's the slider that put him in good shape last year. Down and away, out of the strike zone. Throw another one.
That's Reynolds at third. Walters at first, the catcher. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Oh, what a pick by Bandy. That just saved a run right there. Man.
And that's about all you can do with a fastball that is that far in front of home plate. You don't have time to block it. Throw the glove out there and hope you get lucky.
A little first base experience showing up right there. That's a big play. And that he made the play, it's hardly noticeable. You won't see it in the box score. But for a catcher, that's like hitting a home run.
Yeah. RBI.
Just saved potential tying run. 2-2 the count. Tried the breaking ball again. He missed upstairs. Now it goes full. There is activity in the Brewer bullpen. Corey Knebel, in an ideal world, would have the 8th, but council might have to bring him on earlier. Marinez wants a fastball. He's going with a 2-seamer. Looking for the ground ball. Payoff pitch. And he missed. Bases loaded. And decision time for Craig Counsell. See Derek Johnson say he's ready.
Yep.
Meaning Knebel's ready in the bullpen.
Man, it's been a rough inning for Marinez. The only out, they play at home plate.
So they're loaded with the leadoff man Blackman coming up. And Counsell is going to call Knebel on. Pitching change at Miller Park. It's tight here on opening day. Brewers lead by a run, but the Rockies have loaded them up with 1 out. We'll take a break. Miller Lite, the original light beer. Getting tight here in the Rockies half of the 7th inning, as the big crowd has filed in on opening day at Miller Park. 5-4 Brewers, a 5-run 5th inning. Chase the starter John Gray. But the Rockies have him loaded with 1 out, and Rock, the new pitcher, is Corey Knebel.
Yeah, Knebel with a pretty good spring. He did pretty good out there in Arizona. Yeah, 2-0 at 360 earned run average and 10 relief appearances down in spring training. 2 different stints with the Brewers a year ago. 35 appearances, a 468 earned run average. And he needs a ground ball. Fastball, curveball pitcher, Corey Knebel. He can rest that fastball up there pretty good.
And he will face Charlie Blackmon. Top of the order now. Blackmon batting for the 4th time. Just made a fantastic catch, jumping up against the wall, robbing Kirk Neuenhuis of extra bases perhaps. Wouldn't have gone out, but it was certainly going to be high off the wall. So a great defensive play, and now Blackmon is up there with the bases full. He's a tough guy to double up. He runs well. Knebel misses. 98 with a fastball from Corey Knebel.
Yeah, you figure Corey's pretty amped up right now. Corey, not what you consider a ground ball type guy, more of a fly ball strikeout pitcher.
Nice play by Bandy. He's had a pick and a block that have saved runs in this inning.
Yeah, prerequisite if you want to be a major league catcher, you got to be able to do those blocks. That other one, that pick on the fastball, that's something different. That was a heck of a play.
Rockies have not been retired at the bat in this inning. 3 hits and a walk. The only out was on a cutoff and relay from left field on a 7-6-2 put out as Parra was cut down at home. Bases loaded. 1 man out. 2-0 to Blackmon. And a shot at short. Arcia, VR. Oh, he bobbled the ball. They'll get the out at second, but the tying run will score.
Wow, that was a pretty routine double play, and I'm not sure if he was a little bit far from the bag, which is why his footwork was a little out of sync. But he caught it going toward left field. Let's check it out. I mean, does he have time to set himself? I think he kind of walked across the bag and trusted his arm to be able to get it over there. I mean, I think if he sets himself, he's going to be able to turn it. He just keeps going, momentum going away from first, and dropped the baseball.
That's a big mistake. That's a play that's got to be made. VR just got a little casual with it, and that cost the Brewers a run and maybe more. Now LeMahieu comes up with runners at first and third. Brewers should be out of the inning. Well, that was a gift. You get a shot like that from Blackmon, who does run well, but that was hit so hard. That was routine.
1 hot bullet. Should have been double play.
Two outs in the inning. Tying run scores Reynolds. Walters at third, Blackmon at first, and LeMahieu takes. 1-1. Knebel said he found his curveball a lot earlier this spring than in years past, and that was by design. He ramped it up in his offseason program. He wanted to come to spring training with a good feel for it. There goes Blackmon, swing and a miss, throw to second, nobody's there, and another run's going to score.
I don't know about that. That's a pretty good jump. That would have been 0-2, second and third.
The go-ahead run comes in, and this fantastic middle infield for the Brewers is having problems here, specifically VR.
Yeah, VR having a difficult time getting over there. The throw wasn't bad. It would have been a short hop. Somebody's got to be there. I mean, Jet Manny does the right thing, although the throw's not very good. He's got to throw to second base. He does that, but nobody's there to take the throw.
Stolen base for Blackman. E2, the second error on Bandy to allow the run to score. And there's a called strike 3. And the side is retired, but the Brewers have some defensive lapses out at second base, and it cost them dearly. And instead of taking a lead to the dugout for the 7th inning stretch, they are down a run. Well, let's turn it over to Rob Edwards. Miller Park's presentation of God Bless America. Enjoy.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
And now we go to Craig Kashawn and Jerry Augustine in our right field set for the unlimited baseball break, brought to you by T-Mobile, guys.
All right, PA, thanks very much. And take a look at this recap here from today's game. Mark Reynolds got things going early for the Rockies. Guerra had to leave with that calf strain in his right leg. And the Brewers used 3 doubles. They scored 5 runs in the 5th, but just give up the lead, so it's a 6-5 ball game right now. A lot of different storylines here, but I guess the main one right now, Augie, is the health of Guerra at this point.
Yeah, you hate to lose him. He's your #1 starter today. Just took a bunt, tried to burst out of the thing a little too quick on the short bunt, and pull that calf muscle. So it's going to be interesting to see how long it keeps him out.
Yeah, I'm sure this will be a day-to-day thing. We'll keep you posted for sure. Well, let's take a look around baseball right now and take a look at our showstopper. And we're going to go to Washington, D.C. for this one. It's Bryce Harper as the Nationals are hosting the Marlins. Watch this catch out in right field as he robs Christian Yelich of an extra base hit. Nice play out there by Harper, who's doing everything, of course, at the plate and also out in the field. And that is our T-Mobile Unlimited showstopper for Bryce Harper. Let's take a look at some other action going around yesterday. Of course, Madison Bumgarner, first pitcher to hit 2 home runs on opening day, but Arizona rallies on a walk-off to beat San Francisco. Then Harper had a home run today as well, as I mentioned, in that Nats 4-2 win in their opener against Miami. And the Mets' Noah Syndergaard had 6 innings of shutout ball going. He left the game with a blister, but the Mets still topped the Braves 6-0. Is the final score in that matchup. So Brewers got to go to rally a little bit here in the last 3 innings of this game. It's a 6-5 Colorado lead right now as we head back to the booth, guys.
All right, Craig and Augie, thanks. Here we go to the bottom of the 7th, and the Brewers should be ahead right now. They let an inning get away from them, and now down a run with big Mike Dunn, one of the key acquisitions for the Colorado Rockies.
Yeah, 4th organization is with the Yankees, the Braves, the Marlins last year. Yeah, hard-throwing left-hander out of that Rockies bullpen. You can see the common theme of this bullpen for Colorado. These guys can bring it.
Eric Dames leads off. Big swing and a miss. Rockies remade their back into the bullpen. General manager Jeff Bridich, who is a Milwaukee native from Whitefish Bay. The addition of Mike Dunn. Adding Greg Holland, former Royals closer. Thames had a key hit his last time up, drove in 2 with a double. Thames tied the game at 4 and then scored the go-ahead run at the time on a Travis Shaw double, part of that 5-run 5th inning Craig was referencing. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And Dunn strikes out Thames, out number 1 of the 7th. Here comes Ryan Braun. Ryan's had a tough day so far. He's 0 for 3. He's had some men on base in this game. Stranded a couple in the 3rd inning.
And this is normally when Ryan Braun shines late in games, and this is when he really buckles down. He might have had a rough game so far, but you never know with this guy.
Braun with a bounce back season last season. He's dealt with the thumb injury, which has nerve damage that will not improve. Just something that he has to treat and regular maintenance with. He also had the back injury, but said he had a normal offseason for the first time in a long time.
He had about 25 at-bats in spring training, which is what he had the year before. Doesn't need too many. He played about what, end of the 2nd week of games.
Played in 11 games this spring, hit 3 homers. Last year hit .305, 30 homers, 91 RBIs, 16 steals, and part of that regular maintenance is days off, consistent days off. Braun played in 135 games, and that's about the number that he'll try to hit this year. 3 balls and a strike on Braun. Hard throwing Mike Dunn signed a 3-year deal with the Rockies, just shy of $20 million. They are betting on their back end of the bullpen, and it's going to be on display here in game 1 for Colorado. That's outside, ball 4.
That was a good at bat for Braun. He's just trying to see the baseball. He's been a little bit over aggressive today, taking some pitches and able to get the walk.
But Black hollering at his catcher Tony Wolters to go talk to Dunn, giving his bullpen a chance to get going.
They've got a right-hander getting loose in the pen. Rockies have 2 lefties in their bullpen.
This is a stall tactic by manager. I always wonder, as Ottavino gets loose in the pen, I always wonder what a catcher says when he goes out to the mound like that. He's not intending to say anything.
Well, he just goes out there, says, hey, how you feeling? You know, maybe a little scouting report on Shaw. The last thing you want to do is say, I don't mean to say I'm just stalling to get the reliever loose.
But of course Dunn knows that. Here's Shaw. Brewers down a run.
I said that to a guy in college one time. He wasn't too happy. What do you mean get the reliever loose? I'm going to finish this inning.
I don't know why I'm out here, but the manager said to go talk to you, so I assume it's to get the reliever ready.
Just try to get a guy ready for when you get taken out.
Shaw's had a good day in his Brewers debut. And these are interesting matchups too. Shaw fashions himself an everyday player. He had a great start for Boston last year and then ended up in a platoon role. You might remember the Brewers traded Aaron Hill to Boston, and Shaw was struggling, so they went into a platoon there with the Red Sox. But Shaw believes he can hit lefties and wants the chance to prove it. He'll get one right here.
Yeah, the Brewers still have their secret weapon left on the bench. That's Hernan Perez. Got to figure that Craig Counsell is going to be using him at some time today.
Shaw with 2 hits, 2 doubles today. And he takes a strike. Fastball from Dunn. Ryan Braun drew a 1-out walk. Inning started with a strikeout of Thames. And that's upstairs. 2-2.
Any thoughts of a stolen base, I think you can forget, because Bronny's not able to get a read on Dunn. He keeps going back to first when he delivers the baseball, having a difficult time reading his move.
Braun takes off, and Shaw swinging a foul tip throw to second. He is in time, and that's a strike him out, throw him out, double play. Inning is over just like that. So the Brewers find themselves down a run. I think Counsell wants to take a look at the tag at second. Pat Murphy, the bench coach.
Yeah, Bronny just couldn't get a good jump. I mean, he was heading back to first base quite a bit. Yeah, he's out.
And the inning will end. No challenge required. To the 8th we go. Rockies lead by a run.
Milwaukee Rockies with a 1-run lead, and get live broadcast, scoring updates, breaking news, and much more right at your fingertips with MLB.com At Bat, the official app of the Brewers. Download At Bat today, free for your smartphone or tablet.
New pitcher is Jacob Barnes as we go to the 8th inning. 6-5 Rockies. Colorado just scored twice in the 7th inning. And Barnes will take over, the hard thrower facing Carlos Gonzalez.
Yeah, had a real good season last year. 27 appearances, 270 earned run average. Just about a strikeout per inning. He had a rough spring training, but hopefully he'll have a short memory and forget all about the troubles he had in Arizona.
And there's that first pitch cutter that Barnes throws so well. I was talking to Lee Tunnell, the Brewers bullpen coach, about Jacob Barnes, and one of the first steps they had to take with Jacob when he arrived to the big leagues was to try to define what his pitches are. He was calling these pitches cutters. It looks to us like sliders. We asked Lee, he goes, we want him to call it a slider as well, because then we can start to build on top of that. He throws 3 different speeds of that breaking ball, holds it the same way, spins it the same way. It just all has to do with,
comes out of the hand differently.
Yeah, the speed of the arm and how it comes out of the hand. And so they've tried to streamline that a little bit with Jacob. He's got an electric arm. He has a chance to be a big league closer one day.
Yeah. He's got all the pitches, just a matter of the mentality. He had a good step forward last year.
And there's that cutter, and it's a swing and a miss. Gonzalez strikes out for out number 1.
Well, let's see how that comes out of the hand. Now, if that's a cut fastball and not a slider, I've never seen a slider.
that's as normal of a slider rotation and spin as,
but hey,
as anything.
He can call it anything he wants. I mean, right?
I think that's the idea, is they want him to call it what it is, and then they can now add pieces. And you know, he made a good point, basically saying the things you do well, the fastball and the slider, perfect those. Thames on the backhand, pitches over to Barnes, covering the bag for out number 2, and Arenado is retired.
And nice play by Eric Thames. Yeah, down on an 8, flipped it, got it to Barnes early so he can catch the ball, then look for the bag.
You got a feel yet for what kind of defender Thames is going to be?
He's going to be pretty good. I mean, you know, the thing about playing first base is all about playing or run production, but Thames did pretty well. I mean, he's got good range. He seems like he has a pretty good arm. We saw him turn some double plays in spring training. A little bit too early to tell.
Can play the outfield, and we will certainly see him in left field on occasion. Two outs for Trevor Story. Rockies are going to have a left-hander tomorrow, which will put Hernan Perez in play. No telling where Perez will play on any given day. Can play all over. So versatile and valuable.
Yeah, that's going to be a thing to watch with Craig Counsell and his team. You know, what does he do with Hernan Perez, one of the best hitters on the team? At least that's what he has shown over the last couple of years. You know, all these guys are going to need days off, so Perez is probably going to be floating around to different positions, but you got to get him his at bats.
Right off the end of the bat, Bandy makes a play, and who says spring training matters? Jacob Barnes, who had a rough spring, comes out dealing in a scoreless 8th inning.
Milwaukee, they're down 6-5. Coming up right after the ball game, it's Brewers Live, presented by Essetia. Our post-game report will get you a medical update on today's starter, Junior Guerra. Also here, of course, from Craig Counsell. Get you set for Game 2 of this series coming up on Tuesday between the Brewers and the Rockies. Lots to talk about, a lot of post-game reaction, a lot of things going on, including a big rally in the 5th. We'll see if the Brewers can get one more in here to try to win this game, Brian.
All right, Craig, thanks. And here we go to the Brewer half of the 8th, and the new Colorado pitcher is Adam Ottavino.
Yeah, coming off Tommy John surgery. He had that in 2015, came back last July. Yeah, good numbers at 267 earned run average in 34 appearances.
Domingo Santana leads off.
Kind of a crossfire right-hander. Makes it tough on right-handed batters.
This new Rockies bullpen, this remade bullpen, they have guys who have a ton of closing experience. Dunn's been a closer. Holland is their closer. He's been one of the game's best in the past. Holland's another guy coming back from Tommy John surgery.
Yeah, Ottavino's had 7 saves himself last year.
Jake McGee is a big lefty they have who has closed games. 3-0 the count on Santana. Sellout crowd today at Miller Park on opening day. Just shy of 44,000. Brewers have come back once, trying to do it again. Rockies jumped out 4-0, scored 2 in the second, added 2 in the fourth. Brewers got 5 in the fifth. Rockies scored twice in the 7th inning, 2 runs that shouldn't have been. From a Brewers perspective, defense let him down. Full count to Santana. And it's ball 4. Santana draws a leadoff walk. Man on. Here comes Keon Broxton now, representing the go-ahead run. And Broxton last year found that home run stroke once he dropped those hands. He was part of a team that hit 194 homers in the 162-game schedule. And the home run leader, Chris Carter, tied with Nolan Arenado. Now a member of the New York Yankees. A lot of home runs lost, with Carter not signed.
Yeah, but the Brewers, I think, are always going to be a team that are going to hit some home runs because of their ballpark, and I think their team over the years has been built for power. And I would imagine they're going to hit some this year.
Broxton would love to hit one right now. Hit 9 last year. In the big leagues, he hit 8, did Broxton in AAA. A 17 home run season when you combine his AAA numbers and his big league numbers. Big swing and a miss.
He's had a difficult time laying off that high fastball today.
Keon is 0 for 3. Reached on a fielder's choice his last time up. Nice play back there by Walters. Ottavino missing badly.
Yeah, that sweeping slider, particularly from that release point, makes it awfully difficult on the right-handed batter to keep that front shoulder closed. You really have to concentrate. Very similar to the delivery of Taylor Youngman.
Complicated delivery, but it is what makes him effective when he's throwing strikes. 2-1 the count, and a check on Santana. Santana can run. Walters, as we have seen today, throws the ball very well. Just cut down Braun on a strike him out, throw him out double play to end the 7th inning.
Just talking about how Braun wasn't able to get much of a jump. He took off and got thrown out.
2-1. He lays off a nasty breaking ball. 3 balls and a strike now. That's a good take. Now that's the pitch right there, the symbol of the new Keon Broxton.
Right. Confident enough to be able to take it if it's a strike and hit with 2 strikes. And that pitch didn't miss by much.
Hitters count. Brewers down a run, 8th inning. And Broxton takes ball 4. Back-to-back walks. First and second with nobody out in the 8th inning.
I'll tell you, Joe West strike zone. Those last 2 pitches look pretty good. Joe didn't like him. That's the only guy that matters.
And now a meeting at the mound as the corner infielders come in. Some scenarios in the National League would call for a bunt in a spot like this to move the go-ahead run into scoring position, but you're seeing that less and less.
Particularly when you're at the bottom of the order.
At the plate, presented by Wendy's, Jet Bandy, Brewer catcher, started that big 5-run 5th inning with a single. Corners are in. Reynolds a couple of steps on the grass. And a pick-off play. No throw is made.
Remember, the Brewers only have 4 extra players to start the game. Nguyen, Heiss, Aguilar already used. They've got Manny Pena and Hernan Perez.
With the pitcher spot in the hold right now, 2 spots away. And the runners take off. A bunt attempt. He bunts through it. It's a strike, but a double steal. I don't know if he missed it on purpose, but they picked the right pitch to run on, and there was no chance to make a throw.
Bunt and run? I'm not sure about that. Something was up. Somebody missed something. I'm not sure. But it's a good thing that Bandy let it go. He popped that one up, and that's I don't think he did let it go. I think he tried to bunt it. If you pop it up, it's a triple play.
Wow. Double steal. Now a base hit. The Brewers could take the lead. You got Broxton at second, who can fly. And now Bandy a chance to deliver one. 8th inning. Nobody out. Way outside. Ottavino's having a tough time with that breaking ball.
And the Brewers doing a good job laying off of it.
Bandy batting 7th in this Brewers order. Big cut and a miss. Got a good swing, but comes up empty, and it goes 1 and 2 now.
Just such a difficult pitch to get a beat on up there at the plate because of the release point.
Delivering runners with less than 2 outs, runners in scoring position, specifically at third base, was a big problem for the Brewers last year. Something they hope to improve upon this season. And Bandy takes a called strike 3. Down he goes.
I think he might have been looking slider right there. That one had plenty of the plate. It's always dangerous to guess with 2 strikes. There's that fastball, and it's pretty much right down the middle.
That is the 12th strikeout for Brewer hitters today. First for Ottavino. And here is Arcia now. Second and third, tying run at third base. Go ahead run at second. Rockies had their infield in. And Arcia, good contact hitter at the plate. When Arcia is right, he is driving the ball into right center. Had a base hit to center field in the 3rd inning. Chased one. He was trying to go the other way, but now he's down 0-2. swing and miss stuff for Ottavino.
Yeah.
That's where it starts.
Well, he throws that slider for strikes. It really gets into your head up there at the plate. I mean, it's a very difficult pitch to make contact because of the release point. You don't see guys throw it like that often. And it gets into your head.
Santana, the runner at third. He heads up for a wild pitch. And Arcia fouls it back. That sweeping slider he throws, and then he's got a fastball in the upper 90s. Stage is set, though. The Brewers have him at second and third. And Walters on his way out to the mound.
Yeah, basically saying you don't have to throw me a strike here. You've got 0-2. If you bounce it, I'll block it. I think he's saying that thinking that last pitch on 0-2 was a little too close. Too good of a pitch for Arcia.
No balls, 2 strikes. Arcia takes a ball. Boy, that didn't miss by much.
Good eye.
A very good eye, Rock. Spectacular eye it was. Oh my goodness. 96. Just missed the edge. Santana at third, Broxton at second, and Walters wants to go through the signals again.
Well, he went slider, then he's throwing a few fastballs in a row. Let's see if he goes back to the breaking pitch. Maybe Arcia could just dump one over the first baseman's head.
Let's see what he has here. Ottavino. 1-2 pitch. And did he go? He did. And another strikeout. Got him with a breaking ball. Back-to-back Ks. Runners still at second and third. And now 2 men are out for Perez.
Yeah, he went back to the breaking pitch, and Orlando not able to hold up. It was off the plate. Good pitch with 2 strikes.
And he certainly went. Well, it's going to take some 2-out magic now. Here's Hernan Perez pinch hitting. A base hit could give the Brewers the lead. Broxton ready to run at second base. Perez takes a sweeping strike from Ottavino. What a year he had last year. Such a valuable big leaguer now. Shortstop by trade, plays all over, and he hit last year. 0-2 the count.
Yep, and he won the batting title in the Venezuelan League this winter. You could use 1 hit here.
Santana led the inning off with a walk. Broxton walked right after him. A double steal, second and third with nobody out, and now back-to-back strikeouts, and the Brewers are fighting to try to get something in here. 2-strike pitch into right field, falling fast, and it is a foul ball. Close call down the right field line.
Good approach for Perez, and just trying to put the ball in play, and almost hit that foul line down in right field.
By how much? Ooh,
about a foot.
Man.
That's a nice approach. I mean, nice and easy. Just trying to do the old Carlton Fisk on it.
In reverse. Still 0-2, and now Perez asked for it, is granted time. 304 hitter throughout his big league career. Most of that coming last year with 2 outs. Runners in scoring position. Anything will do here. 0-2 the count. And down he goes. Ottavino strikes out the side, and the Brewers strand runners at second and third is nasty stuff. Brewers still down a run.
An opening week showdown between the Crew and, I got to say it, the defending World Series champions Chicago Cubs head to Miller Park this Friday through Sunday. Great seats are still available at brewers.com/tickets. Chris Bryant, Ryan Braun.
Well, two high-powered offenses to start the season, the Rockies and the Cubs. And here we go to the ninth inning now. The Rockies lead by a run. The Brewers let a golden opportunity slip by, stranding runners at second and third. And the new pitcher is making his Brewers debut, just acquired off the waiver wire from the Pittsburgh Pirates. Jared Hughes, the sinker ball specialist.
Yeah, gets a lot of ground balls. Had a terrific season last year with the Buccos. 67 appearances out of the bullpen, a 303 earned run average. Not a big strikeout guy. He specializes in getting that ground ball. A lot of double plays. Was released by the Pirates Wednesday out of spring training, and Brewers picked him right up.
Had some options to sign with other teams. He chose the Brewers, feeling like he had the best chance. Had some great years with the Pirates when they were rolling at their best with their terrific bullpen with Melanson and Grilly and Hughes, the ground ball guy. He is 6'7", 245 pounds, and he gets a lot of those. VR makes a play for out number one as Parra is retired. Two-hit day today for Gerardo Parra. And for more on Jared Hughes, who just arrived to the ball club, let's check in with Sophia.
Yeah, that's right, guys. You touched on it, kind of what a whirlwind week it's been. Released by the Pirates, signed here yesterday, and he did have the opportunity to spend some time at Miller Park yesterday, but a place that he's very familiar with, obviously, having pitched with the Pirates over the last 5 seasons. Shared a story as a rookie in 2011. He said he came into the game, gave up a home run to Prince Fielder. It was Fielder's third of the game. He said it was the loudest moment of his life. He said he had never heard a stadium that loud ever before. So he said, I'm very happy to be on the other side now, be pitching with the Brewers. And as you guys mentioned, a big appeal, that 61% career ground ball rate for Hughes.
Hey, good stuff. And you wonder why the Pirates would part ways with Hughes. He had a rough spring training. I mean, but he's not the only guy that's ever had a bad spring training. I mean, he's been a very dependable reliever for the Pirates. Now the Brewers have an opportunity to get a guy that can get some ground balls.
Mark Reynolds at the plate in a 1-1 count, and he takes a ball. Reynolds has been the star for the Rockies today. He's driven in 3 of the 6 runs, 2-run homer in the second, drove in another run on a fielder's choice in the 4th, and then he had a single and a run scored in the 7th inning.
I see that 2-seam fastball for Jared Hughes. I mean, hitters just, for some reason, get on top of that baseball, beat it into the ground. And when he's right, when he's getting on top of that pitch, tough to elevate.
And as you see, there is a side conversation going with Jared Hughes. Just Jared and Jared having a chat.
It's all about what you say to yourself, right?
What you say when you talk to yourself. His sinker, he admitted, was not consistent last year, especially early in the year, but it did get better as the year went on. But the Pirates had to make a decision, and might have an injury here. Reynolds has brought the athletic trainer of the Rockies out. Not sure what's going on here.
He beat a baseball under his foot, I think, didn't he? Is this a foot issue or maybe a shin?
That would make sense.
Jared Hughes will give you a few of those.
Shin burgers. Two now. And did he go? They will ask. No, he didn't. First base umpire Hunter Wendelstedt says he checked it.
Kind of looks like what Arcia did, wasn't it?
Full count. Rockies took the lead with 2 in the 7th. After they gave up a 4-run lead. And Hughes walks Reynolds. Base runner with 1 away. Say if you can't catch the games on television this year, you can stream them live on your mobile device with Fox Sports Go. Download the app, take Fox Sports Wisconsin and Brewers baseball with you wherever you go. Opening day, the traditional opening day across Major League Baseball today. 3 games yesterday. Rays beat the Yankees. Diamondbacks had a walk-off against the Giants, and the Cardinals had a walk-off against Chicago. 2 out of 3 games ended up with final at-bat wins. And a whole slew of games today. Runner goes, swing and a miss. Bandy's throw, wrong side of the bag, but a tag by Arcia in time, and Reynolds is out.
Yeah, these guys can throw. They can. Saw it all spring. And not a guy that throws right over the top. Kind of a little bit of a sidearm action, but the ball stays pretty true all the way down to second base. Yep, got him.
Good tag by Arcia, hung right in there. In this era of sliding and having to stay on the bag, what you're seeing is really great tagging if you're into such things. And you're seeing, like, Javier Baez was the first guy that brought a little style to the tag game of the Cubs, but it's an art, and especially on double play balls when you're having to hit the bag in a certain way. On the ground, right off the glove of Hughes. Here comes VR, and the throw is into the Brewer dugout. That'll probably go as a hit and an error. VR is having a tough day defensively at second base. And that will be a single for Walters, an infield hit, and then an error. The 3rd error of the day for the Brewers.
Yeah, see, he was going up the middle, and pretty good play, but not even close. I don't even know if a good throw is going to get the runner at first base. This is one that Hughes probably should have. I mean, normally sinker ballers, guys that get ground balls, pretty good fielders. That one off his glove.
And that'll bring up Alexi Amarista off the Colorado bench. Rockies have a runner at second now. That's a big run for Hughes to leave with 2 outs in the 9th.
And Brewers with 3 errors on the board. And some other plays that should have been made.
And now Bandy on his way out. It's got to be difficult, Rock. Bandy has not caught Jared Hughes. He just got to town yesterday.
Right. Doesn't take them long, these guys. I mean, they figured out pretty quickly what they want to do. I'm sure they had a long discussion in the clubhouse over the last couple of days about, you know, how he likes to pitch, what he wants to throw.
No real trick pitches with Hughes. It's that power sinker. Boy, that missed. Bandy gave him a little dap with his glove as if to say, that a boy, good pitch. Didn't get the call. Now it's 3-0.
Yeah, that's a strike. I'm not sure what Country Joe's looking at, but that's a good pitch.
See if Amarista has a green light. 3-0. Does not. And there's a strike. Versatile utility man Alexi Amarista. First at bat of the year in a pinch hit appearance. Jam shot, fly ball. Braun's got a long way to go. Can't get it. It is fair. And a run will score. And Amarista into second with an RBI double. And the Rockies have a 7-5 lead. Well, the errors have bitten the Brewers today badly.
Yeah. Just a little jam shot right down the line on a pitch in on Amarista. And that's a big run right there for Colorado. Pitch in right off the handle. And he dumps it into fair territory down the left field line. Nothing Braun can do about that.
Well, the error by VR allowing Walters to go to second. He scores easily on the double. And now a runner at second with Charlie Blackmon at the plate. Charlie Blackmon recorded an RBI in the 7th inning, which was his first ever RBI at Miller Park. This is his 11th game. Came on a fielder's choice, and that was the big play in the game. Should have been a double play ball to get the Brewers out of the inning with the lead.
Man, those are the plays you have to make. I mean, that wasn't even a difficult play, and a lot of times that's the difference between wins and losses. You know, a simple play like that turning a double play or not.
Broken bat. Arcia rounds it, and a nice play to end the inning. Unearned run comes in against Jared Hughes in his Brewers debut. Brewers down a pair. Got top of the order coming up, bottom of the ninth. Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin, presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Let the games begin. Well, let's see if the Brewers can make a memory here as we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. Down 2 now. Rockies took the lead with 2 in the 7th, just added 1 in the 9th. And now Colorado is going to break out their brand new closer. Formerly one of the game's best before an elbow injury and eventual Tommy John surgery. It's Greg Holland on the mound to try to close it out.
Hey, it's been a while. Tommy John missed all last year, but big save totals. 2015 with the Royals had 32 saves. Brewers have the top of the order coming up.
VR will lead off, then Thames, and then Braun. Brewers had 2 on, 2nd and 3rd with nobody out last inning. And Ottavino struck out the next 3 hitters to get out of the inning. Surgically repaired relievers for the Rockies. And if they perform as they have in the past, this is going to be a tough bullpen to score against. Bud Black put it best. They asked about his bullpen. He goes, "This is a real bullpen." Something they have not had. That's a bouncer foul.
Well, and again, there's nobody out there trying to trick anybody with off-speed stuff. I mean, these guys can throw hard. They've got good sink with the sliders. It's the curveballs and pitches like that that don't really work all that well in Colorado.
First year Rocky skipper after 9 years in San Diego. Spent last season with the Angels as a special assistant to the general manager. A team that he once was the pitching coach for, that World Series winning Angels team back in '02. And now he's back in the manager's seat. VR takes low. Last year the Rockies bullpen posted an ERA over 5, which was the worst in baseball, and they blew 28 saves last year, which is why Jeff Bridich went out and hired Mike Dunn and Greg Holland to try to get him to the finish line. Way inside. Full count to VR. Holland shakes off a few times. Let's see what he has in mind for VR. Lead man in the 9th. And VR fouls it away, hanging tough.
And 95, nothing wrong with the velocity for Holland. He's got a slider and a changeup to go with it.
2013 to 2015, this was one of the elite closers in the game for the Royals. Greg Holland. 3-2 pitch. VR sends it foul in the seats. Hanging tough. Brewers were down 4-0 and then a 5-run 5th put them on top. Rockies have come back to take the lead. 2 in the 7th, 1 in the 8th. They're checking 1 in the 9th. 3-2 again, and it is outside, ball 4. And the tying run will bat as Holland walks VR. Good battle.
Yeah, Brewers have been able to get on base last few innings. They walked 4 times in the last 3 innings. Got to come up with that big hit now.
Don't forget, we're back at it tomorrow. Tyler Anderson on the mound for Colorado, and Zach Davies coming off a fantastic season. Miller Lite, what's on tap? On the air, 6 o'clock in the Central Time Zone, Fox Sports Wisconsin. Game 2 of the season. Here's Eric Thames. Brewers down 2, tying run at the plate.
What do you think? Got a bloop and a blast in you?
Or possibly a blast and a blast?
Now that's greedy.
I say it's opening day. You get greedy. You eat more than you should. You drink more than you should. Thames takes a ball. Thames has had a good day in his debut. Walked in the third. He then drove in 2 to tie the game with a double in the 5th inning. He hit a bullet to right field. Way inside.
Yeah.
Ball 2.
Well, good patience.
It's never easy getting those last 3 outs. Nobody knows that more than Bud Black. Thames in the air, center field, playable. Blackman will make the catch. He just missed the sweet spot.
Yep, a little bit down on the handle. And we talked about Holland. The pitch was middle in. Thames knew right away he didn't get all of it. Is that fastball? Just trying to pull those hands in a little bit. Got it off the sweet spot enough to keep it in the ballpark. That pitch was supposed to be away. So where Walters was set up.
Here comes Ryan Braun now. Braun is 0 for 3. Walked his last time up. The best home run threat the Brewers have at the plate. Travis Shaw due next. Rockies are set up for a double play to try to turn 2 and get out of this game with a win. And Braun didn't mean to do it. I think the pitch was called a strike anyway by Joe West. One ball, one strike. VR takes a lead at first. And Braun pulls one. Oh, what a play. Arenado to second, out there, throw to first in time. My goodness.
Man.
That is the best third baseman in the game right there, folks. And the game potentially going to end. Craig Counsell wants to take a look at it, but what a play by Nolan Arenado.
Yeah, it gives you a sense of why he's so good. Gold gloves. That was a base hit. That ball was by him. That ball was almost in the left field already, and not satisfied with just getting it out. You know, Ryan Braun doubled up at first base.
This will be the definitive look here.
Yep, I think that the game's over.
It's called out on the field, which means there has to be definitive evidence to overturn it, and I don't think you can say there is definitive evidence for that. What a play by Arenado. My goodness. I mean, this guy is next level, and I'm talking among the greatest third baseman of all time, the way he plays. So that's it. Call on the field stands. Game is over. Arenado starts an around the horn double play, and the Brewers let one get away here this afternoon. 7-5 the final. We got a Junior Guerra update coming hopefully in our postgame show. Guerra had to leave the game after 3 innings. Spoiling the party. The Rockies win the opener. Now it's time for Brewers Live. We send it out to Craig Cashon, who's standing by. Craig.
Okay, BA, thanks very much. Tough one here today, to say the least. What a battle here in this season opener. But it goes the Rockies' way. We'll get an update on Junior Guerra's health here from Craig Counsell and get set for tomorrow's game. Stay tuned.